right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G. I'm over here doing another live stream talking about Trump. America is back, ladies and gentlemen. America is back, and we're going to be discussing it. People are seeing the positivity of our country, our nation, how our streets are being cleaned up from violence, crime, and drugs, gang activity, and illegal immigration into this country, illegal aliens, and so forth. These dangerous gangs that been plaguing our streets for a long time. It's just so much to cover, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to do it. We're going to discuss it today. We're going to have a great time talking about how America itself overcame adversity, and things like that. So we're gonna go into this journey, walk it on down, and I may not cover everything on Trump, but I definitely know his policies for sure. So, I mean, he ran on his policies day one. This was day one that Trump ran on these policies and stuff like that. I'm gonna get out of this sun, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on for a minute. Let me just turn around a little bit. Feel like I get a little bit of a glare. That way, you guys, I think that's better. Here we go. There we go now. Isn't that better? Well, I think it was. Hold on for a minute. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. I think that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. We'll just keep it like that. Just screw it. All right. So, as we go ahead and talk about it and things, Trump is going to more than likely go down as being the greatest president we have ever had. Talking about how America basically turned it around and things. Because before we start going into the positive side, we got to talk about the negative side first. So the negative side, America was on the down, basically a downward spiral, a death spiral, because we have been overran by criminals in the White House, which is in government. We have been overran on the legal system. We have been overran on the corporate crooks as well. We've been overran on on big pharma. We've been overran, ladies and gentlemen, by all these criminals and crooks everywhere, from Washington all the way down into the private sector, and they were destroying America within. We were always wondering at the time, why is inflation up so high, right? Why has the cost of living, right? It's like we're working 2 jobs and a half and three jobs. And this was the question that I had too. Inflation steady going up, jobs are being shipped overseas. Why is it that immigrants are being sent into the country, right, to be able to work these jobs? Well, it's quite simple. Because these corporations could not afford to pay the Americans at the normal wage that what we were getting. So they had to hire cheap labor. And again, these are failed policies coming from both policies. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying outside of Trump, these are both failed policies that actually happened. So this is why we are in the situation that we are in now. And they were really doing it to us, man. Some of us some people that are not even in the living anymore, had they would have witnessed this great historical moment in time, they would basically see it for themselves, how America is slowly turning around. It's actually getting better and better and better, ladies and gentlemen, as opposed to before. So what I've been talking about, so some of y'all coming into the room, I've been talking about, before I go into the positive, I'm just talking about the negative first, get the negative out the way. We were in that death spiral in America, right, where inflation was going up, our educational system sucked because it was under the government system, right, Department of Government, Education and all that stuff. It was almost lights out, ladies and gentlemen. It was almost lights out. They're about to do it to us here in America, right? And this is basically what it is. We had an influx of illegal migration coming in this country like never before. They were taking all the jobs, right? The taxpayers were funding them as well. Y'all remember this? It wasn't that long ago, right? Because if we were to wind the clock back 4 years ago, we could wind it back further too. America America was on its way out. We weren't even respected no more, right? There was a lot of other things too, regards to America, right? They've been changing stuff around, ignoring the Americans, robbing us from our tax. We're paying taxes while the fat cats in Washington just live off of it, right? You guys, it wasn't that really that long ago. They were really just slapping us around, making us their bitch for a long time and things. So I got to talk about these other things though too. We just wasn't respected when they started putting in this transgender crap. I mean, you got generals walking around with skirts and purple hair and piercings and shit. It was. Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, you know what? That is that moose? Oh yeah, mushroom. Okay, Island. We went on our way out since the 80s. Yeah, you're right though, man. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Not wearing my glasses at the moment. I may have to put them on, man. But yeah, yeah, you're right. We were on our way out since the 80s. In fact, we're gonna put my glasses on that, therefore I don't have to struggle. We're gonna put those glasses on. There we go. That's better. Yeah, Mushroom Island. Okay. Yeah, you're right. We were on our way out since the 80s. It's correct. And I'm just talking about the negative right now before we go into the positive. So you're absolutely correct. So what else was going on? Because I remember in the 80s though too. And when they took us off the gold standards in 1971, that's when we start seeing a real decline, right? When it come down to the money and things like that. Because the Federal Reserve Bank was already established since 1913. This is the hidden culprit, ladies and gentlemen. The Federal Reserve Bank. This is the reason why, the real reason as to why Americans are not living the quality life that we were promised. You know, before our founding fathers, when they established their Constitution, guess what was not in the Constitution? I'm talking about the original Constitution. It wasn't about having a central bank. It was about our sovereignty and our freedom, right? We didn't have all these taxes and stuff because the taxes that was going on, it was the tariffs. What Trump is doing, it's a repeat on history because that's what this country was founded on. What's that behind me? Who's behind you? I don't know, some dude walking around. I'm just kidding. Nobody behind me. But yeah, other than that though, yeah, that's basically what it is, man. The Federal Reserve Bank is the number one culprit. It's the number one culprit as to why we are struggling right now. And this is why things have to be shaken up in the White House. And they don't like it because some people here are still programmed. They think that this is the way. I don't know a person alive that likes paying taxes as an adult. I don't like paying taxes, and I'm sure you don't like paying taxes, right? The 40-40 rule, you work 40 years of your life, you pay 40% of your taxes, right, to the government. I mean, it's just, when you think about it, it sounds really, really crazy. It's like they're taking money, and we're not even seeing what they're doing with the money other than feeding themselves, setting up regime changes across the nation, across the world, right? They also been financing Antifa and these other organizations, slush funds, right? They've been doing all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, up under our noses. A lot of us back then, we wasn't aware of Act Blue and USAID, these slush funds. We didn't know anything about the AOGs, AGOs. I mean, we didn't know anything about this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't know anything about this stuff. And this is why it was the decline, ladies and gentlemen, of the American society, right? Our way of life have been targeted, it has been compromised, and it's been going down ever since, right? This is one of the things. On Washington, tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts, raise taxes, lower tax cuts, right? This is what they've been doing. It was full of shit outside of Trump. Both Republicans and Democrats back then were guilty as sin. This is one of the main reasons why a lot of us don't like politicians, because most of them have a law degree, most of them are great actors, slicked all up. People vote on personalities and good-looking people. This is why Gavin Newsom lasted so long, because when you see him, he he's a polished politician. You know, even though you have to look at his record and see his record is trash, but on the aesthetics, a lot of people would rather see Gavin Newsom, right? I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna speak for everybody, but I know because I know how the behavior of most human beings, right? We like people to represent us that's in shape, that that looks good. This is just how it is, right? And I think the fact about people when they see Trump out of all the presidents, because his brash, harsh, New York style, people don't even like New Yorkers, to be really honest. People hate New Yorkers, right? For the same reason. Because they're pushy, brash. And I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I wasn't raised, but I was born there. But they do come off to be very rude, and people, it draws people, a very abrasive personality type. So unless if you're from the East Coast, you you know what I'm saying, you probably would just say, hey, you know what I'm saying, I don't like this guy, and I get it. But we have to before I go into the positive stuff, let's go in and finish knocking this thing down, right? When America at the time was on a death spiral, I was talking about the transgender that was being in the military, right? Wearing dresses, cross dresser, all this other stuff, purple hair color, piercings. We were the joke around the world. You just started looking at China, North Korea. You look at China. They didn't have this stuff. They were looking at us, man. We're looking at fools 4 years ago. We're looking like some jackasses because we started letting queers and weirdos in the military. It was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would take a nation serious like that, right? And then we found out that for some of us, we always knew that conservative was pretty much the majority in this country. I think with a lot of people that are liberals, they found out later that conservatives is definitely more of them than they are, you know what I'm saying? Because if you put in the whole LGBTQ community, you're only talking 4%. How can 4% be the majority? It's not. Just because they go online and troll don't make it so. I see more liberals on the internet screaming, hollering, yelling than out in person. None of them had to smoke, even when I wear my hat, my MAGA hat. They don't have to smoke. But they had to smoke on the internet, but they're not out here for real with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. So having all these shock factors, now that stuff is being turned around, there's been a great reset under President Trump. And that reset is called normacy, right? There's things that have been changed around. So now we're going to talk about the positive, right? Where all religions are protected, right? Not just some, right? The overrun on Islam in this country has been halted. In other words, not having Sharif law and all this other kind of stuff, because normacy has been turned around. These are failed democratic policies, as I said before. Now that the policies are turning around, Washington, D.C., I already did a live on that already. The streets and stuff are turning around where violence is being curtailed and curbed down to, and it's going to get better than this, because as I said before, we're starting to see the positive things of what Trump and this administration has been doing. And this is the thing to 19 cities across the United States. He's going to do the same thing. We already know it. They're going to flood the zone, establish a beachhead behind enemy lines. This is military stuff, right? And that's all they're basically doing. So they're going to flood the zone, first of all, with a bunch of National Guards, right? And that means that it's going to be lights out for the people that's causing all these crimes, just like you have witnessed over in D.C. The people that live in D.C. are like this. Because a lot of people that live in D.C., Chicago, look like me. But it's funny that I see all these white, liberal, conservative, older white women and all this other stuff chanting the banners and the signs about talking the opposite about they don't want National Guards. Well, a lot of them don't even live in these cities. They don't live in Chicago, East Side, South Side, They're not on Old Block. They're not on these areas. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They're not dealing with that. They're up in Oak Park, Schaumburg, in the business area. They don't. They're not even rocking like that in Chicago. Keep it real now. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? But they can come out here and hold up picket signs and stuff. And same thing they did in D.C. They live out here in Virginia or on the outskirts of D.C. They don't live in the inner cities in D.C. I've been to D.C. and I ain't seen them in D.C. Most of us haven't. The people that live in these inner cities are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. So America is on the turnaround and the comeback. And I'm gonna go right down the list. We're gonna walk it all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Because this is exactly how America has come back for the better, not for the worse, but for the better. Because they want to talk about, yeah, Trump a dictator and all this other kind of stuff. But I tell you what, though, people are loving the policies. Thank you for the like. People are loving the policies, including myself, because the majority of the people are conservative, not liberal. You know what I'm saying? So and another thing, let's go ahead and talk about this. I think that with Tom Homan, they're doing a fantastic job with ICE. They just arrested, ladies and gentlemen, some more illegals. We're talking about the one, that Hyundai plant. You know what I'm talking about? It's all on X. Yeah, they came down there, man. Hyundai, man, an automotive manufacturer over in South Korea. They hired, what is it? It was over, what is it, about 450 immigrants, if you include was it Koreans. It was a total of 475 that got arrested over in that Hyundai plant. Now, you already know the most of them was illegals. 450,000 illegals. I'm sorry, 450 illegals. Sorry, not thousand, but 450 illegals that were rounded up. So they were rounded up, ladies and gentlemen, and they were actually being processed to be deported. Now, the Koreans that were over it, the management, they got arrested too. And they also got deported back to, they sent them on the first plane out to Seoul, Korea, where they belong. Got their ass up on out of here. Trump talked to the South Korean government. And what's nice about it, when he said you can rule through peace, through strength, you know, this is exactly what he did. Because tariffs is a great thing, ladies and gentlemen. When a country get out of line, and we got right now, America is holding the leverage. And everybody in the world know it. So if you don't want to act right and play ball, all Trump got to do is raise the tariffs. And I think he should raise the tariffs on South Korea. Raise those suckers up. That's what's up, Stover. Yeah, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Absolutely, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Make America great again. Right? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for coming on to the live stream, though, too. But yeah, but these are the things, ladies and gentlemen. We are witnessing and seeing, this is history being made. We were like the Bad News Bears, if y'all remember growing up in the 80s. It was that baseball team back in the days on television, right? I think it was a Disney thing, well, you know what I'm saying? But at any event, they were so bad they just stunk up on the sand lots, the diamond, right? Until they turned it around, you know. I think Walter Matthau was the coach back in the early 80s when that was going on. But we're like the Bad News Bears, man. We turned it around. With Trump and his administration, we turned it around. America is respected again, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he stopped the fentanyl coming into this country. Fentanyl was killing a lot of people in this country. We had a lot of illegals coming over here. They were stealing all the jobs. America, taxpayers like me and you, we were financing their stuff. They were being put up in high rises and all that. They were running amok down there in rural Colorado. Y'all remember that? They had a rural Colorado under siege. So they just got busted with the Hyundai thing. South Korea, as you heard me mention. There was another bust recently at some type of club that a lot of these illegals were hanging out at. And just if ICE, if you are listening and watching, I know you are, you may want to start hitting up in a lot of these 10 major Democratic cities. Go to the supermarkets. I know where the supermarkets are, where a lot of them are. All you got to do is go to those Spanish-speaking supermarkets, hit some of these Indian supermarkets up as well, like the Patel Brothers and Bombay Groceries. You go to these places, you will find them. Go to the Korean mart, the ones. Go to those buffets. A lot of times they love to bring their families to the buffets, especially on the weekend. You catch them on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go to Lowe's and Home Depot no more. They're already up on that. But because they got to go out and go shopping. I guarantee if you go there on the supermarket in these Hispanic supermarkets, Latino supermarkets, you're gonna bust some illegals. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping dimes right now and stuff like that, kind of giving them 411. I do call up tip quite often, so therefore they can go ahead and do it. Come over here into these Arab communities. You'll see them there too. Go to the fruit markets. You will see a lot of them. You know those ones, everybody got a fruit market, right? That's where you hit them up, especially on the weekend. You get a lot of them on the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. They got to come out to get some food, right? And that's where you nab them. And this is what has been going on, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting our country back. You understand what I'm saying? And right now, man, it's been feeling great. Freedom again, ladies and gentlemen. Freedom again. Man, look what's been going on, right? Stopping the fentanyl. And I do believe, Trump did say this, but I believe this policy is going to be coming once he got a control of things. Anybody selling drugs or in America is going to get the death penalty. And I can see that happening. Now, it may sound harsh, but it's the stone truth. Because you notice in these other countries in the world, especially in Eastern Asia, they don't have drug problems as bad as we have over here in the West. They don't let their drug dealers back out. They execute their drug dealers. That sends a message to every drug dealer. If you're caught selling drugs, dealing in drugs, it's going to be like that bomb, that missile that went down and blew those people up on that damn boat. Ain't no messing around. Ain't no Coast Guards. Hey, pull over. Ain't no chases no more. That's what you're going to get, death penalty. That's a message, man. That's a message that America is not playing around no more, man, with these criminals. You do these things, you are illegal. Now, it was a tragic situation. One of these Ukrainian women that got stabbed and things like that in the throat, killed her on one of those, I think, subway trains or somewhere like that. And this happened in New York recently. They won't publicize it, but this is what I'm talking about. And the person that did it wasn't, I believe he was a black guy. I think he was a local, you know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying, because Trump he knows he's got to send the troops, National Guards in New York, like he did with D.C., Maryland, Chicago, right? We got to go right down the list. Flood the zone, establish a beachhead, take control, take over, overcome, and take down our adversaries, man. And it's going to be quick. It ain't going to be no resistance because they don't have no resources anyway. You know? They don't have no resources, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. But that's what's going to end up happening, though. I appreciate y'all coming on the line, man. I'm just talking about all the wonderful things that under Trump, what he's been doing for America, man. I mean, we could breathe easy. It's going to get better than this. Look at all the jobs, ladies and gentlemen, that Trump brought over. What is it? Apple just announced again. 600 was it $600 billion? Was it? I believe it was. That Apple is setting up here in the United States. We got manufacturing that's coming back, that's here. We got AI, open AI, you know what I'm saying? We got all these tech companies, semiconductor companies. These things are being built right here in America. The coffers are filling up with so much money from the world, right, that want to do business in America. And the coffers are filling up. And what's going to end up happening, because Trump is competing with the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve is trying to stop the tariffs, as you already know, because they understand what the end is coming. They've been ruling in our country since 1913. That's been a long time. And this is why Americans have not known what real sovereignty is, right? We haven't known what real, when it comes down to when we're talking about living life and living life well, you know what I'm saying? Because there's been debt and taxes all the time. Debt and taxes. And more taxes more add-ons, more laws. That's not sovereignty. They've been stealing and taking, chopping our freedom away and things like that. And Trump is turning it back around. That's what he's doing. He's competing with the deep state, which is the Federal Reserve Bank. That's exactly what it is. I'm black. Let me read what she says here. I'm black U.S. citizen working here in the U.K., London. The U.K. is a mess. I know it is. It's a mess in the cities. The countryside is gorgeous, yes, but the cities are filling up with Muslims coming soon. I'm gonna say this though, and you already know this though. YouTube censor our free speech. I'm gonna say this though, man. UK has fallen, man. I'm gonna say it already. It fell to the Muslims, man. They have run amok over there. I would say, man, if you could work on getting out of there and come back to the United States, you got to get out of there, man. UK has fallen. It's too late. They messed around here, and they should have been protesting and championing and stuff. The Muslims have overtaken London. They have overtaken those other cities. I don't know how far they've gone. Sussex. I don't know how far. Manchester, Liverpool. I don't know how far they have gone. But I definitely know that London has been taken over and things like that by the Muslims and things like that. Nothing good could come from it. They're flying their flags. They got the signs up. And when that happens, ladies, you've been invaded. They tried to do that here, but we stopped it. We stopped it because thank God we have a constitution. And I feel for people that live there in the UK, man. UK is bad. Germany is bad. France is bad, right? All these places, Ireland is bad. Scotland is bad. That's why I say the whole UK is on it's already been, it's gone, man. Dublin, Ireland, it's already taken over, man. You know, like you said, countryside, beautiful. That's only a matter of time because they're spreading out. They're going to have more children get out here, knifing, stabbing people, and all this other stuff. It's just sad. The worst thing that the UK people ever did is to turn in their guns, just like Australia. And when they do this, that's when the government can really go in on you. See, our government can't really go in on us for two reasons. One is Trump. Number two is that we still have the Second Amendment. We have what they call the Constitution. So this is what, because every citizen, we have the right to bear arms, right? We have the right to bear arms, ladies and gentlemen. So with our sovereignty, this is what is at stake. We don't want to be overran by a foreigner. They try to do it. They sent the Chinese in too, Chinese spies or whatever. We got a lot of their asses together, got their asses up on out of here, you know. We took back the land that they were buying up. And once again, we had sellouts in government that worked for the Chinese and other people, right, that allowed this to happen. Primarily failed democratic policies. And they did this on purpose. Because as long as they got the money and keeping us a slave, like they did y'all, man, they did y'all bad, man. I feel for y'all over there in the UK, but, man, I say, like you said, man, I mean, I've been watching it and hearing the reports. UK, yeah, London Bridge is falling, man. I hate to say it. It's already falling already, man. You got to get out of there, man. Yeah, YouTube censors our free speech. You got to get up on out of there, man. Anybody that's living in the UK, man, you got to get out of there. Canada too. That's our neighboring country. Look at the liberal provinces like Ontario. It's bad. They got problems over there with they got an overflow of immigration problems over there. You know what? It's hard to even find a Canadian these days that's, you know what I'm saying? You can still find them, but a lot of them are not living in the city for the same reason. Guns, violence, stabbings, shootings. This is going on even in Canada. Canada used to brag about how it was safe in there. Not in Toronto, not in some of these cities, not in Quebec, not in some of these cities there isn't. There's some violence going down over there, just like the UK, like America, to be honest. Let me see here. YouTube censors our free speech, says Birmingham is the second largest city, right, in the UK. it's now officially 35% Muslim. That's a serious problem. Anytime you have any immigrants, especially illegal migration, that's 35%, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Because let me tell you something. Everybody know this, right? I ain't telling you nothing. You should know this. Muslims don't assimilate into anybody's society very much. They ain't about assimilating. They are about taking over and conquering. This is basically what it is. There's no living amongst Christians or non-Muslims. It's either them or you're done. And this is why right, I mean, this should have never happened. We're not going to allow them to run amok here. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about it, we still carry firearms too, you know? And we have militias here too. And it's a part of the Second Amendment. Before we are overran in this country, we will take them all out before we are overran by them in this country. That's a fact. I'm not even joking like that. I know there's some Southern boys down there. It won't happen. And God, if they try to go into Texas and try to do this, they better have Allah and Muhammad on their side if they try to go in there, if they want to. I bet you that. It ain't gonna happen. You know? And your failed government allowed this. Just like the failed government we go into and talk about it. Germany, failed government, right? France, failed government, right? Look at these failed systems. They're failures because they all sold out their people and they sided with these criminals, because this is part of the Great Reset that the global elites were basically trying to do in the first place. This is a globalist problem. And this is why we are in the process of taking them out. We have to. We can't coexist with these people. They are the ones behind a lot of shit. This is the reason why. You got to know the face of who we're dealing with here. It goes far beyond government and things. Anybody watch the Economical Summit, World Summit? They were telling the truth about the Great Reset, right, and the New Green Deal, right? All the windmills and titles and all this other bullshit, electrical cars. We stopped all that shit. A lot of us didn't want no effing electrical vehicles. I drove them, but they're not fun to drive because you got to look for a charger. You don't have a supercharger system. I don't want to go too far off topic. But I'm just saying, though, we stopped them here in America. We stopped them. That's why they hate Trump. They hate MAGA because of this reason. Because if it wasn't for that, they were about to go willy-nilly like they did in the UK. You know what I'm saying? We're stopping them. In fact, you guys are now in the UK protesting out there. I see the protests. You know what I'm saying? I see the protests. They are not happy with their government over there in the UK for the same reasons, legitimate reasons. 35% Muslim? What is this? Like you said in Birmingham? Was it London and all this? That's a lot. That's a lot. That should have never happened. It should not never happen. 35%. Man. You know? Man. That's a lot, man. That is a lot. You know? We were dealing with some of the same problems here in Dearborn Heights. But it's like they got to pop, mostly Lebanese, but they know where their boundaries are and things like that. But they're not going to overstep. See, they're over there in Dearborn Heights, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, man. I know it's not like how it is in the UK when you got a city that's huge. 35% of them, that's big, man. We're not talking like no smaller groups, amounts of people. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to cause problems like they have been. They've been causing a lot of problems over there. If this religion is supposed to be so peaceful, but I tell you, oh yeah, it means peace. Islam is peace. No, it's not. It's not peace. How you gonna sit up here 15%, London 15%? Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, but if you're saying that you are of peace, then you should demonstrate it. You should be trying to assimilate into the country. You should be trying to learn how to be a Englishman instead of being an Arab in another country taking it over. And that's exactly what people see it as. And we ain't gonna allow that here in America. You're gonna know your place when you come over here in America. That's one thing for sure though. We ain't playing that stuff. You know? You're gonna assimilate or we're gonna round you up and get you the hell out of here, you know? Because terrorists is not welcome here in America. And if they represent terrorist acts and stuff like that, you're not welcome in America at all. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're saying in things. But going back to my point, America has turned around, man. We fought a lot of this stuff. I am very satisfied who I voted for. I'm very satisfied. Because if, I'm telling you now, if we had not had Trump, you think Skamala Harris, do you think that she will be, I'm just saying though, do you absolutely think that Skamala Harris could get the job done? I'm just saying. Do you absolutely think that she's equipped as a DEI? She's not even a black woman. It's not a black woman, that's an Indian woman. A Brahmin Indian is what she is. She's a Brahmin. Most of your Indians that you see, Vivek Ramaswamy, that's on the Republican side, he's a Brahmin. Brahmin South Indian. Her mother is a Brahmin. She was actually born in Canada, I think, and then lived in America for Skamala Harris. But other than that, yeah, she's a Brahmin too, Brahmin descent. There's a lot of Brahmins over here in America, right? We know the caste system. We know how it go. They sit at the top of the pyramid. They have a superiority complex over dark-skinned people. Brahmins are some of your most racist-ass people on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Where they talk about the untouchables and all the rest of this stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's basically what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are turning this stuff around. And I'm going to say this, though, too. Once the National Guards have secured all these Democratic cities with the failed Democratic policies, it's going to get to the point right now, once this has all been taken over, there's going to be, the grift is gone. There ain't going to be no more grifting anymore. Because they're not going to have anything to talk about. People are going to be safe in their communities. Opportunity is going to be here in America where we can go to not only go to school, but you better go to work. There's so many jobs coming back here in America. And the people that's out here grifting, that I'm glad this guy showed up. He shows up on my lives and things like that. And I love the, like I told you guys, I'm not going to go side topic, but I love the pro-blacks and I love these piece of pan-Africanist type people. I love them when they come in here. Because like I said, the stuff I'm talking about is nuclear versus what they're dealing with. They haven't shown nothing. All their leaders are failures and sissy boys and so forth. Because they have failed policies. They have failed the inner city black communities. Right? We'll go right down the list, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to give them no shine. Everybody know who they are. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, they don't have a legacy of doing nothing but just collecting cash money. This is the problem, but the grip is over with though. That's why we don't even have to worry about that. Because Washington, D.C. is actually going to be the beacon of hope in America. Because once that city, I should say the District of Columbia in that city, is being straightened out already, it's going to be really beautiful, it's going to look good, people are going to be coming there, tourists, there's going to be more money in reserve. You better sit down in nice restaurants, have dinner, enjoy this and that, not worrying about no drive-bys, gang, things like that. Because like I said, if the Democratic policy cared so much, they would have taken care of it. These so-called black leaders, if they cared about it so much, they would have fixed it. They didn't want to fix it. They wanted to keep the grift, the scam going. Because as long as crime and violence is going on, the more they can collect money and then blame the white man at the same time. Those days are over. The grift is over. When they come to Chicago, who's up in Chicago? Oh yeah, that's right. Farrakhan is in Chicago, isn't he? Right? Why is Chicago still looking like hellhole? Don't they got him over there? Why he ain't straightened it out? Why he ain't stopping? Don't he got? I mean, don't they send their people? Why the FOIs ain't out there doing what they supposed to be doing? See, that's what I'm saying. It's a bunch of hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't the only one. It's a list of them. L. Snaketon, right? Way back with Jesse Jack. All these guys, man, right? If they care so much about the black community, why haven't they done anything better? This is their problem. This is the problem. They have failed with democratic failed policies. Everybody in the world is looking at them right now. They looking so bad right now, they can't even hide for cover. And then they want to sit up here and talk about Trump. Because if I was president, I would have sent in the National Guards too. I would have done the same thing. Because he's going to flood the zone in Chicago. Tom Homan already told him. When they flood the zone, do you know what that really means? You ain't going to be able to drop a piece of paper without somebody seeing it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I love these hypocritical so-called pro-blacks that come up in my room, and you notice that they just looking like very hypocritical, ladies and gentlemen. They have not done nothing to help their people. Nothing. Nothing. Just keeping and aggravating and grifting and aggravating and just lying and putting everything on the white man instead of accountability and responsibility. This is the thing though. But guess what? Accountability and responsibility is here. It's here. The grip is over. Go run and tell that to them. I don't care. You go and tell any of them. It's the grip is over. Now going back on the other positive note. So look at what this administration is bringing in. There's a whole lot of prosperity in things. I'm looking at my crypto, looking at my other stuff. It's looking great. Looking great, 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 great. It's looking good. I'm not the only one. You know what I'm saying? Crypto is looking good. Dividends is looking good. I looked at it. I said, wow. Went up some more. This is what I'm talking about. So I love it when they say, well, what did Trump do for you personally? Well, for starters, though, my investment portfolio is looking really, really good. It's going up. Just as to be expected. This ain't no shocker. He said what he was going to do when he ran on the campaign trail. Everything he said he was going to do, he done it. And exceeded. That's the thing about it. High achievers, this is what the results. They get positive results for being a high achiever. And that's what he did. He's been fighting this wicked government that's been trying to stop him. Big Pharma been trying to stop him. Immigration, they've been trying to stop him. They've been putting all these injunctions and all these old lawfare people that's been coming against him. He's been winning on every level, man. That's what winners do. And they know it's just a matter of time, man. Ain't Obama and them is in the process of being indicted. They got bigger issues to worry about now, how they done committed treason in this country. Setting up insurgencies and stuff that's been stopped. Man, it's about to be lights out for America, man. And America has been winning. We are respected now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody have to play hardball and set up deals if they want to compete in the American economy. If you want to sell goods over here, you got to pay the tariff. And I'm glad that Trump got Moody together too over there in India, because India's been ripping us off for a long time. Like they could sell products over here where we wasn't even charging them a tariff, but guess what? They were going as high as 200% on our asses. You see what I'm saying? I'm glad that he got his ass together. You know what I'm saying? Because you know a lot of them corrupt, slick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he got Moody ass together. That's all I cared about is getting their ass together over there in India. YouTube censor our freedom of speech or our free speech. What you have? Okay, he says here. Would you support the CECOT type El Salvador prisoners for being built in the U.S.? The murder rate dropped 97% in El Salvador within 8 months of that prison opening. You talking about having a prison over here? Do I support them building a prison over here in America and things? I mean, well, we already have prisons over here. We got Alligator Alcatraz. We have what else? Alcatraz itself. We got the Rock. I mean, we got some places where we can actually house them. But I don't mind them sending them over there to El Salvador and things like that. They don't necessarily have to be on. I mean, you know, for the El Salvadorian. I mean, don't they got that brand new prison over there in El Salvador? I support that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I support that. I don't know about being built in America. I mean, we got our prisons over here. It's just that the Democratic policies shut a lot of that down. We're opening it back up. We're going to open up our insane asylums again, too. Those need to be opened back up because mental illness is a thing. We want to stop this stuff. I mean, our prisons are just fine here. We just need a person, now that we got the right person for the job, to turn these prisons around. These old prisons like the Rock and all that, they're going to be opened back up. And they're going to be 100% operational and functioning again. Well, we have to set a message that anybody that commits a crime, murder, drugs, and all the rest of this stuff, they're going to be put away for a very, very long time, you know? So that's the thing about it, though. Yeah, I support El Salvador being in El Salvador. You don't need to have a Salvadorian prison over here in America because we got our own stuff over here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the only reason we're using those prisons because our stuff ain't really up yet. So it's just being outsourced right now. But Alligator Alcatraz, that's a starter right there, and I support it 100%. We need more Alligator Alcatraz here in America. So that way, when they try to, that way you don't have to have a lot of manpower, just watching and all that, because the alligators will get them. You see what I'm saying? YouTube censor our free speech. The CECOT prisons in El Salvador holds 40,000 game minutes. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, I'm not against that in El Salvador. Yeah, they got that brand new prison that they built over there. Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the like too. I appreciate it. Violence is nearly non-existent in that country now. Yeah, absolutely, because of the prisons, right? That's one of the things. They don't play in El Salvador at all. Very few get out. That's true. 130,000 gang members. Yeah, just in Chicago. Yeah, because when they flood the zone and when they all get apprehended, I'm talking about the ones that commit the crime. We're talking about these gang members and all that stuff. It don't even matter though, because they're going to flood the zone. They're going to get them together, get them up on out of here. If they have to be, well, right now, they're still American citizens. So they'll just go into an American prison for right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's important for us to get our stuff up over here. But we got supermax prison systems, federal prisons, state prisons, and stuff like that. But I like the Alligator Alcatraz and that's really for a lot of these illegals right now. But the gang activity is slowly being curtailed over here as well, where we don't have to worry about them running amok, being destructive, doing gang drive-bys, running drugs, prostitution. We don't have to worry about this stuff, sex trafficking, child trafficking. All that stuff is going to be a thing in the past, though. The stuff that the Democrats should have stayed firm on, but once again, failed Democratic policies. And when I talk about liberals, I'm talking about outside of Trump. I'm talking about the old Republican, neocon conservatives, along with the liberals. You got to keep in mind, they're still liberals on both sides. They've just been playing a role on Americans. Americans thought by voting Republican, they thought it was meaning something. It didn't mean shit because they were still liberals. So this is why we've always said the election part of it have always been rigged. It was rigged from the start. That's why I never voted. The only person I voted for was Trump. I didn't vote for none of these knuckleheads because we already knew if you voted for Obama, you were still getting hell. If you voted for Bush, you were still getting hell. It didn't matter how the game. If you voted for Biden, you were still getting hell. It wouldn't have mattered if John Kerry would have got in there Mitt Romney, you still being played on both sides, so it didn't really matter. They all are part of the deep state watchdogs. Who got a chain around their neck is the elites. They are the ones that they've served. That's who their masters are. And this is why they don't like Trump so much. This is why they're trying to stop him on every level. It's just people that are very brainwashed, as you should already know. They can't see the forest before the trees. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's the biggest problem right now. Let me see what you have to say here. Casey, I'm not sure if the demos have failed policy. Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have. They have been failed policy. Let me give you a case in point, Casey. Just look at the black community. May I say more? Look at all of the Democratic cities across the United States. 10 major cities across the United States. And the Democratic policies are the reason why we have the crime, violence, and drugs. You may or may not know this, Casey. There was it's called the Great Society. When 1965, welfare was pushed in the black community. It was a tool under Lyndon B. Johnson, right? He pushed welfare. Here's the caveat. When the welfare was administered to the black women, there was one stipulation. Black men could not be in the household with the black woman. What I call our communities. Because you got to keep in mind, our communities at one time, we had men and women, right? They were married over 80%. When welfare came about, that's where the decline of the man and woman. And when women and children with no father in the home, this is why gangs start coming in. You know who are the fathers of those black boys growing up in the hood? It's gang members. This is a known fact. And this is why I say failed democratic policies. This black community in these cities, all of them are, if you live in the inner city, there's really not really that many, there's like small pockets of prominent black communities. But you have a sea, they're surrounded with a sea of ghettos, inner cities, crime, violence, drug, gang activity, right? This is a known fact. That's why I cite this thing as failed democratic policy. The Democrats never had any type of policies of managing when it comes down to the money. They fucked over the money, excuse my French, it is what it is. They have been wasteful. They have been scheming. They don't know how to manage money. They're really lunatics because they can't even understand that when it comes down to finances, they just fucked over the money every time. They were the ones in states stealing the taxpayers' money. It didn't go towards these things that they claimed that it was going to. They mismanaged funds and fucked over this situation. They are also the ones who created a lot of wars. Democrat failed policies are the ones that's why they're pushing for Ukraine right now. If it was under Democratic rule right now, they would still continue on, right, with pushing the war, right? They want these forever wars to happen for a reason and a purpose, right? Because they know that war is very profitable. They're in bed with the military-industrial complex. These are all failed policies, sir. I'm not just making this stuff up. Everybody should know this right now. Look at your cities. Your worst ran cities are Democrat. Republicans don't have cities. They have suburbs. But you go. I've been in many suburbs. Suburbs didn't look nothing like how the city looked. Oh, how the cities are ran are failed democratic policies. I grew up in the black community, black hood. We shouldn't have a hood. We should have opportunity everywhere. Because of their failed policies and what they did to the black community, this is why we are in this situation now. There's one man that rose up to stop all this nonsense from happening, coming back to common decency, right? With what we call just really plain and simple when it comes down to common sense. Common sense and logic or outweighs all this liberal-minded thinking type stuff. It's just common sense practices and policies that actually works for the people. Thank you for the like, by the way, I appreciate it. But it actually works for the people, right? Because we, as a MAGA Republican, we don't have to rely, I don't have to be emotional and do everything out of emotions. Versus the Democrats, they're the ones that get triggered on what I say, what I wear. I don't care what a person wear, right? Because when you're able to think logically with sound and common sense, no so-called political leader can go out here and have you to trash, burn, or destroy. They only do that for people that have been raised. That's why most of them are women. And the guys that are out there are driven and are controlled by the women. It's a big difference. Conservative men, alpha men included, they're not operating on that frequency. Beta males and so forth, they are operating on that frequency. That's why when I see and I have no respect, no offense, I don't have no respect for liberal men, as I said before, because they always talk with their feelings like a woman. They can't have a real conversation. That's why I don't even debate them no more. There ain't nothing to debate. They can't talk about their failed policies of their party. The only thing they can attack is Trump. Trump been kicking their ass on every level. When it comes down to the Constitution, he understands the Constitution very well. You know why? Because he got smart people around him. This is the difference. How dumb you want to call him, one thing for sure is he has a solid team. This is the difference. Let me read further down. YouTube censors our free speech. The leader in El Salvador was accused of taking the rights away of gang members. He replied that he had given freedom to its 2 million citizens. Extreme, yes, but it works. Yeah, gang members, I don't know what it's like in El Salvador. I can't speak over there. They want to say that illegals over here in America have rights. It's a thing called human rights. But being arrested and being deported is not something that is anti-human rights. They have broken the law coming over here that makes all of them criminals. When you break the law, you become a fugitive, a criminal. This is exactly what it is. And the fugitives that are on the run, they will be apprehended. It's just a matter of time. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. There's no screaming and hollering because we got ICE, National Guards, other law enforcement. They got the intel. You know, they're going to be apprehended and deported. This is how it is. You know, you tackle a problem with the solution. No talking about this and that. We just stick with the facts. And that's what's been working. Just like I said earlier, Hyundai hired all those illegals over in Hyundai. And shame on the South Koreans for doing that. They were well aware of what they were doing because those were the ones that was manufacturing those cars. And I want to give a shout out. I forgot her name. She was a white woman that busted that story. And you did your civic duty, though. I want to clap. I want to thank her for that. Because if it would have been for her, it was going to be found out eventually. But she took initiative, and you guys should be taking initiative, too. If you see something that doesn't look right, you see an illegal, all you got to do, you guys got those illegal groceries, those stores, those where they be hanging out at. They got their own markets. And I guarantee, ICE, you'll go up in there, you'll bust some illegals. They don't have to hang out at the Home Depot and Lowe's anymore. That's where they are. Go to those supermarkets. Or wait on the weekends, you'll catch them. Sundays is the best day. Sundays is the best day. Go to the buffet, especially on Sunday when they're out in their families. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to go. Let me see here. What else? YouTube, Sister Casey, I agree with you. All by design. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I said, though. We can have a disagreement, but I'm just giving you the facts in regards to the Democratic policies that have failed America. Name me a policy name me a policy that the Democrats orchestrated where it benefited the country. I'll wait. If you have a policy, if you know any other policies, I'm asking a question right now to you, YouTube, censor our freedom, or Casey. Name me a Democratic policy that benefited everybody. Because this is a long time coming. Because like I said, I just say look at the black community. You know, look at the black community where high violence and crime, black on black crime, they were cooking the books when it came down to black on black crime. The DOJ, when it was the corrupt DOJ, right? They were cooking the books. They were cooking the books, meaning they were lying about the statistics that were going on. And I knew they were lying because I lived in the black community where black people lost their life by another black person. They didn't have to have no Klansmen coming down the street. They know they did their job. Black on black crime is at an all-time high. Jail lockup, well over 50%. Jail lockup, black on black alone. Right? The ones that's perpetrating a lot of these crimes, everybody know it. But the Dems were hiding the statistics and the facts. But not anymore, because now that they found out, that's why that woman went and got fired. We got to fire these incompetent people because they have been protecting the deep state, low down, lunatic leftists. They've been protecting them to keep the truth from coming to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we have this. This is why we have the problems that we have in America. It's just that a lot of the blacks now are waking up. They're seeing who the enemy was. They see who has been manipulating us. And once again, these are liberals, right? These liberals, these illiberal elites that think they're better than us, think they're smarter than us, when they've been failing ever since Trump have won the presidency. They're not winning nothing on nothing now. They may not even make it to the primaries because everybody is seeing how they have lied, how they have cheated, how destructive, how they sold us out. This is what we're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing nothing more than what? Hypocrisy, lying, stealing money from the taxpayers. I go right down the list. And Trump stopped all that. This is why things are turning around. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet because the goal is that when this $37 trillion debt has been satisfied, we may not even owe all that due to all this corruption. I believe the one woman said it was $21 trillion that has been used fraudulently, robbed from the American. This is why stuff has been going up. They won't never have these real conversations. I'm about real conversations. This ain't about all this Mickey Mouse stuff that the Democrats try to pull on people. We're going to deal with the facts right here, right? This is what it is. All this other stuff, oh yeah, he ain't the most smartest. Oh yeah, he's orange and all this other. You know, his policies are fine with me, just like they're fine with the majority of the American people. You know? Liberals do not have a footing here no more. They lost the narrative. They don't have the control. That's why they're losing their minds. They never thought that they would be in a situation like this today. You have been turning people from blue to red every day. Just ask Chicago. Chicago flipping red. California is flipping red. What y'all gonna do, Democrats? Your tricks ain't working no more. If you think in the New York Minute that you're gonna cheat in those elections, you may try, but you will fail because the National Guards are gonna be there. You're not cheating in no more elections. No more elections. You can't talk about Trump all the time without having a real policy, saying that he's a menace when everybody's been flipping red. How is a menace and people flipping red to a menace? Don't make any sense. They still, see with the liberals, they still want to think that they're smarter than us. And they're not. This is just common sense and logic. See, they can't stay on common sense and logic. They want to get you riled up, get you angry, get you frustrated. Because you know why? Psychologically, many of you can be manipulated that way. All they got to do is just keep talking about something that they don't like on Trump or what he did, kind of come off as him being a dictator and all this other stuff. You abide right into it. Some of you are weak-minded like that. You will buy right into the bullshit. You know? You never even thought about this. I know some of you haven't even thought about this. How are these older, elderly white women standing on the front lines with picket signs and shit talking about Washington, D.C., where they don't even live in Washington, D.C., not in the inner city? They're doing the same thing in Chicago. You think that that makes sense to me? Common sense would just say right off the bat, they don't even live in east side, south side of Chicago, let alone. They don't even live in those areas. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They don't even live in those areas. You can't even go to the Miracle Mile no more without some violence going on. And many of you from the area know what I'm talking about. But they want to sit up in here and want to talk all this hypocritical hypocrisy crap stuff that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't. You know? You can't jive that and make that, because emotion ain't gonna work on me. If you're not coming with common sense and logic, you know, it's like I just dismiss it because it's just not real. Those people do not. A lot of those people are paid too. Those are paid, what we call advocates, right? They go out here, picket. A lot of those people are paid too. You know, they pay them to go out there to do this stuff. I don't believe you. I don't believe the Democratic Party have all these people that are anti, because it don't make any sense. A lot of them are paid. There they go. They're paid to go out there and do this stuff. They didn't. And what really pisses me off, they can hold up these signs and have this protest about Palestine when we got problems going on right here in the inner cities. Ain't not one of them, these hypocrites, ever held up the sign to say to stop the black violence. Am I lying, or am I just lying? Am I telling the truth? None of these hypocrites came out in these inner cities and did the same thing to say stop the black on black crime and violence. Not one of them. But they can hold a sign for people over there in Gaza, which doesn't relate to what's going on here. You got black babies dying over here, and you want to be talking about over there in Gaza? Are you kidding me? You hypocrites, you. That's why I say their policies are failed and flawed. Because all I got to do is just show the black community. You know who was the biggest backer? The biggest ticket in their back pocket was the black community at one time. And they have failed the black community majorly. We are victims of their failed policies. You got generational poverty right here. And you hypocrites can hold up a sign talking about Palestine. You don't give a damn about Palestine. We got Palestine right here with the black community. Are you kidding me? You got people dying, babies dying right here on the shores, right here in this land. How the hell can we leapfrog and deal with something else? Y'all act like black folks have arrived. They haven't. They are victims and remnants of an old regime that have taken over our communities while we in this situation in the first fucking place. Let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with what's going on here on the shores of America first. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, shit happens in the world. You ain't saying the same thing about Yemen. Yemen got the Yemen genocide. Are you aware? Some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. You may not be aware. They're doing the same thing in just like over here in America. We got to deal with home first, America first. Feel for those people over there, but we got to deal with America first, ladies and gentlemen. It's America first. So yeah, hypocrites, hypocrisy. Yeah, they had a demonstration over here in the weekend. I said, look at these hypocrites. And we got a problem over here in America. Save them over there in Gaza. Listen, we got it right over here. Chirac. Why you think Chicago is named Chirac? We got the problems right here on the shores of America. Not one, Not one damn Democrat policy. In fact, they're the ones that created it in the first place. I already talked about Lyndon B. Johnson and the Great Society and welfare. These were the causes of this stuff. Redlining. Where do you think that came from? That was a Democratic policy. Redlining. Some of you don't know that came from the Democrat side. It did. Right? You go before that, we talk about segregation in the South, Jim Crow, slavery, right? Where all that came from the Democrats. So before you sit up here and tell me that the Democrats are doing so great when they have been nothing but a terrorist party, a terrorist organization from the very beginning. The very beginning. That's why I could catch these liberals in hypocrisy just by pointing at the black community. I don't need to go further than that. Just look at the black community. Because if the Democrat policy worked, we should not have no ghettos. That's all I'm saying. If your policies work, giving them welfare is the reason why our communities are fucked up. We went from 80% married, less than 30% now. And then you want to talk about Gaza. Man, please. Man, please. You know what I'm saying? Don't make any sense. Gabby says Trump is awesome. Yeah, he is. Trump is doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Trump is doing his thing for real. Whether you agree or disagree, but like I said, his policies, at least I can say with Trump policies, it's been working for America, for everyone. And it's just getting started. That's what many of them don't see. But I have pointed out many times of the failed liberal Democratic policies. You know, outside of Trump, like I said before, the Uniparty, it's the same thing. It's nothing but liberals. You got to understand it. Do you realize that Bush and all them were liberals? This is why some of y'all that were voted for them back in the days, it didn't matter, like I said, Mitt Romney, it didn't matter who got in there back in the 2000s. John Kerry, those are all liberals. These are Democratic elites telling poor people that rich people, especially Republicans, are the problem in America. Ain't that funny? Ain't that rich? When in fact, you have more rich or enrich themselves liberal elites. You do. How is it that Elizabeth Warren is 80 million? How is it that Nancy Pelosi had $250 million off of a $200,000 salary? Make it make sense. Maxine Waters too. How can they have all this money off of the salaries supposed to represent the people? We can go right down their list. Adam Shifty Schiff, and he brought up on mortgage fraud right now. They have been enriching themselves. Chuck Schumer, they have been enriching themselves. They even tried to hold up Bernie Sanders. It's already been exposed about him, right? Pharmaceutical, right? These are the people they serve. They don't serve us. This is failed Democratic policies once again. That's why they don't want to have these conversations for real. Because they know they don't have the answers for it. They are exposed. We don't have to deal with them. Yes, Trump he's an awesome president. One of the best that ever did it. He would probably more than likely be on Mount Rushmore after his death, for sure. His face deserved to be up there for what he had to deal with and what he did to get this country together. Because we're talking about common sense, right, and logic. Not all this emotional bullshit that the Democrats try to trick weak-minded people just to go out here and hate a man for no reason. Put all these lies on this man for no reason. And it's just not working because the majority of the people said, no, the hell, you know, even in the black community, they've been waking up. Democrats hate that. When they can't control the black person no more, they really are upset. That's why they hate me so much. Because I can think for myself, I always have. I knew who the sellouts was even then. That's why I didn't vote before until Trump. And that says a whole lot. I said, Mom, why are you going down there voting? I said, shit, because she was liberal then. I said, why are you voting for these people? They don't give a damn about us. Every 2 to 4 years, they go visit the black church, eat black soul food, nasty, unhealthy ass soul food, sing in the choir a little bit. But I can count on your vote. I can count on your vote every time, right? I can count on your vote. I got you in my back pocket. I ain't gonna forget the black community. Pull out the bottle of hot sauce, all this other nonsense. You know, just patter. Just pandering is what I'm trying to say. Just like Hillary Clinton had to learn how to pander to the black community with the hot sauce thing. All you gotta do is pull out a bottle of hot sauce. They'll say you on our side. This is stupidity, man. And they fail for it. They fail for it. This is exactly what it is. Roger says ignorance is a gift for, I don't, was it supposed to be more than that? Hold on for one moment, guys. Hold on for one moment. Okay, guys, I had a phone call. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's the thing about it. So, yeah, so that's the thing. Well, you know what? Yeah, Jose and a lot of them are butthurt. They're not even worth reading the comments no more. I used to read them, but they're just a small minority group that's been brainwashed or bots, one of the two. So they don't get no shine on here. They just come in here, but they don't get no shine. They see that's the thing about it. What did I say before? Common sense and logic. No emotion. See, Jose is operating off of emotion. I hope Jose is illegal. I hope he's legal, because if not, because I do be calling the, the ICE tip hotline, and I expect for you guys too. You can go on there anonymous, because like I said, Jose and them, they hang out at those grocery superstore, those supermarkets. You know, the Latino ones, Hispanic ones. You catch them there on Sundays, ICE. They're always there. Those certain times, people get paid on Fridays. You catch them. You catch them over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping the dime. You know what I'm saying? Never did anything for me any damn way or for the community. They just been a problem being over here because of the Democrats, the reason that they're over here. And now that we have shut that border down and they've been deported majorly up out of here. They just bust them in the club recently. I forgot where it was, but they was up there in the nightclub having a good time when ICE showed up, had them down on the floor, got them in belly change, rolling their asses right on out of here. As they should, because they don't belong over here. And I'm going to say this. With the illegals that's over here in America, and I'm talking about all, not just Hispanics. I'm talking about Indians that was being rounded up, Asians that. I'm one thing about me, I don't discriminate. If you're over here illegal, you got to go. You got to bounce. You got to get up on out of here, because you are a plague on society. You don't pay into the tax structure. All you do is take the jobs away. Because why should, look at what Hyundai. Why should we pay Americans top dollar when we could pay illegals? That's why they got 470 some odd of their asses got rounded up. And I'm not sympathetic at all, because you should not be working, you shouldn't be here in America, let alone working in the country over here either. Because those jobs could have been given to Americans. I always love it when they say, oh yeah, Americans don't, oh no, Americans and shit. Americans don't want to work and do the job. Bullshit. There are a lot of them who love to work over there at Hyundai, be able to feed their family. Y'all been taking the money out of our mouths. And I ain't gonna allow it to happen. I tell it to your face, I call ICE. How about that? I will call ICE in a New York minute. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're cute, Naomi. Oh, look at the Naomi. Oh, you're next. Boy, Naomi, boy, you gonna be all right. And this is what I'm talking about. Naomi too. She's brainwashed. She brainwashed, you know. She over here sympathizing with an illegal instead of a backing up. You old hypocrite, you. You should have been over there sympathizing on black crime. You hypocrite, you. Just like I always said, man, you know. They don't make sense of what they're talking about. They have all the smoke against ICE, but they don't have none of the smoke with these Bloods and Crips and people that's terrorizing in the community. You hypocrite, you. You's a big hypocrite. That's what you are. It don't even matter. But y'all asses is getting rolled up on out of here if you're illegal. We got America back. It's a beautiful thing. We are winning, ladies and gentlemen. And that's when you know when they get big mad, they come in this room. And I love it when trolls come in here. I don't argue with trolls. I hit them with the facts. And they are the ones that's butthurt. They none of them mention one policy other. You next. You know, you're next. And Naomi, why don't you roll it out of America, right? Why don't you do like Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres, that degenerate? Why don't you go ahead on and roll up on out of the country since you don't like America so much? You know you guys can go. You ain't got to stay here. Get yourself your first plane ticket and bounce. You know, get to stepping. If you don't like it here in America, buy yourself a one-way ticket somewhere and leave. Get the fuck on out of here. Because that's really the only other logical thing. Why be in the country if you're worried about being deported next? And if you're an American citizen, but this is the foolishness coming out of their mouth. If you don't like it here in America, know what you can do. Buy you a one-way ticket. No, we will fight for my country. I'm talking about ones that don't like America. Buy you a one-way ticket and get the fuck out. Because far as it is, the Democrats have lost this one. They're gone. All this hypocrisy. Look how they fucked up L.A. They have destroyed L.A. California, they've destroyed a lot of people are leaving by the droves in California. Right? They fucked that city up. And because of failed Democratic policies and leadership once again. Gavin, Knucklehead, Newscomb, Karen, you know, Classy, Blassie, Bassy. Look at this. This is why California is the way that it is in now. Failed Democratic policies. Thank you for the like, I appreciate it. This stuff is just failed. They've been failing. You know, sometimes I scroll down these rooms and they have these paid Democratic shields. Have y'all heard of them? Some of the biggest ones, like that guy I don't like, what's his name? Pac-Man. You know what I'm saying? That guy, I can't stand that dude. But I always had a feeling that he was also bought. There's a few others. You know, they get this dark money backing them to talk about Trump, talk about this and that. They were getting paid the whole time. Do y'all realize MAGA people don't pay us? We coming over here doing this shit on our own. It's your party that got to pay y'all. Your bullshit party. The one that have sold out the blacks, right? And sold out many people in this nation. That's the ones that we're talking about here. Not one of them, trolls, can come on here and debate me with an actual policy that benefited American people. Talking about the Democrats. They cannot, not one policy. Not one. I can bring up several policies under Trump administration that have benefited everyone. Everyone. You know? Look what he did for the historical black colleges. It's 109 of them across the United States. And this was in Trump's first term. $350 million. Dispersed out to 109, right? That should be about $3.3 million a piece for these black historical black colleges. This is why I love it when they come over here talking about he's a fascist, he's a racist. If he was such a fascist and a racist would not do that. And I know plenty of them in my lifetime. They wouldn't have gave 1 cent, not one, to a historical black college. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So, like I said before, I don't get into debates with them because they debate on their emotions, especially the men. I can understand with the women because they always in their emotions, right? There ain't no surprise there. Women gonna be women, especially when they're liberal. They worse. Conservative women, and I know a lot of them though, that know these facts and know what I'm talking about. But liberal women and liberal men, they are the worst to debate, man. They they'll come up there with their snarky sarcasm, trying to be funny, trying to catch you in an aha moment, right? Long-winded, they ain't saying nothing. And you can see that their party has been burning up. It's going down in flames. And we supposed to sit up in here and say that we supposed to back him. It ain't work. We're not backing y'all at all. Y'all the reason why the country is in the disarray that it is in now. From the Democratic Party. That's who I'm blaming. It's nothing but lunatic, liberal leftists. That's why I love watching that show, Lefties Losing It. They always losing it. Screaming, hollering, yeah. I love it when Trump won the election, they lost their mind. Sometimes I go back and still watch that, just as a funny point. They lost their mind, shaved their head. See, you got to be an insane person to do this stuff. I wouldn't date no liberal woman. No way in the world, man. They are out of control, man. Lost it. Gone. Cuckoo, crazy. That's what you're going to get. Shoot. Man, they big mad. Someone come in this room, they big mad, man. And a lot of them I just ignore. I don't even respond to them. They waste their time in here. Shoot. I ain't afraid of no trolls. You know what I'm saying? They just come in this room talking about the same old stuff. But like I said before, that Pac-Man, what's his name? I can't stand that guy, man. I can't stand Pac-Man. If you listening to me, I can't stand Pac-Man, man. I can't stand that dude. I can't stand and I know he's bought. He's paid for it though too. That's why I don't take these guys serious. Most of them that come on here, they actually are bought and paid for. Try to still push Democratic policies, like they still back in the early 2000s, like they still like relevant, and they're not. They've been lying to the American people, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of American people are waking up. They are seeing who the enemy is. They see through their lies and their treachery and their deceit, their failed policies, they war-mongering, war-hungry ass folk people, hypocrites at that. They're the ones that fucked up and destroyed the black community. Now they over here talking about, well, we got to rescue and save Gaza. You know what I'm saying? Well, they should be worried about what's going on over here. I could catch them in their hypocrisy. It's very easy. They caught up in the contradictory. That's why they don't have no answers for this stuff. And then you want to go to war. We ain't in that war. We ain't going to war with Ukraine at all. We ain't doing it. Well, I love the Trump's administration where he stand on that. We ain't funding shit. And we ain't sending troops over there to die for the deep state. We ain't doing it. I'll be damned if we go over there. You go ahead and let UK, y'all go over there. France, y'all take y'all ass over there. Germany, y'all take your asses over there, right? But like I said, they can't debate any of us when it comes down to policies. They debate with their emotions and name calling. That's all they have. That's when you know you won. That's what I'm saying, though. We won, they lost. This is the guy they say that's an idiot. He's been playing 10D chess on their ass the whole time. They have said a lot of stuff about this man. You think Trump cares? You think I care? Hell no. You want to call him Orange Man? He's disgusting. He's a pedo. You think that bothers me? It doesn't. But I know this: he's been kicking the Democratic Party's ass. He trolls them. I love the fact how Trump trolls them. I love trolling them too. He trolls them, and they get upset about it. They got upset and butthurt again when Trump said he's a bright genius and all this other stuff. How he went to Wharton College and they had to break it down where his grades wasn't really that good. They don't even they're so stupid they can't even realize that Trump was trolling them. And I do the same thing with a straight face. I love trolling them because the liberal party is built up on a bunch of crybaby, uh, dishonest, hypocritical, right? Girly men, along with the women in the Democratic Party. That's a fact too. That's why look at Tampon Tim, right? You can't take a man like him serious. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Obama, are you serious? Joe Biden, right? I mean, you can't take these people seriously, man. Are you serious? And these are their leaders. Not one policy that benefit America. That's why they go to name calling. You see, notice I don't bite. Been there and done it. You want to go through that? They have nothing of substance. But in America, we are winning, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fact. Not just the automotive, tech, semiconductors and stuff that plant is being built in Phoenix, Arizona. I used to live in Phoenix. Being built over there, that's going to create a lot more jobs, and you guys will be able to apply for that, as well as the AI stuff. There's manufacturing coming back as well, furniture, all type of stuff, where Americans, for the first time in a long time, where you'll be able to have a decent wage job to be able to take care of yourself or family. The stuff that the Dems should have been running on, instead of trying to convince you that Trump is a fascist and a racist and a terrorist, which he's been ruling by peace through strength the whole time. Everything he said he was going to do in his policies, he have implemented them. You can't even deny him that. You know, so yeah, the name calling don't work with me. You go for it. You still ain't winning. You ain't gonna win an election. You're not gonna win this election. The National Guards will be there, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the reasons as to the SAFE Act, you know what I'm saying, and so forth. We're going to get rid of these mail-in ballots. We're going to get rid of those. Those got to go. We're going to go back to paper ballots where they're going to be watched and secure. They're going to put surveillance cameras. They're going to have people there guarding those polls to make sure they don't bring no illegals in there to cheat. If the illegals show up, you're going to get your behind arrested and you will be deported. Hear this. I don't want to see no more Puerto Rican parades and all this if you are illegal, because if they're going to show up, and they're going to apprehend you, and you will be deported. They're going to process you, and they're going to send you back to your country where you belong. These are the Democratic policies that brought you over here in the first place. We didn't ask for you to come over here. The Democratic elites brought you over here. Let me tell you why you guys came over here illegal. Because after they done siphoned all the money and robbed it from the American people and put a lot of regulations on American businesses, where American businesses had to go overseas, right? And then they had to set up these the businesses that was here. They couldn't afford to pay American people. So guess what they ended up doing? They needed illegals. Sound like another form of slavery. Slavery by every mean or any name is still slavery. And we know it very well, because that's how they deal with the black folks in America. Slavery. Most of your slave owners were Democrats. Down in the South, they were for segregation, Jim Crow. Did you know that a lot of these Southern white liberals, they didn't want to give up their slaves? They made all this money off of cotton, cotton and all this other stuff, right? Molasses, right? Pork bellies, all this other stuff. Free labor. So if any of y'all should be mad, you should be mad at the Democratic Party. They were the ones that were behind it. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones that were behind it. You know, instead of dealing with the facts, and that's all I'm present to you. It are the facts. Ever since this party was created in 1828, they've been running amok in this country ever since. And that's why I'm not sympathetic seeing them going down in flames. I want Gavin Newsom, I want Newsom to be the running mate and the leader of the Democratic Party. I want him to get in there. I really do. It don't matter if him, AOC, or any of them. If he step up, Kamala Harris, any of them, I want that. That'd be a joke. They all have poor track records of managing, from mismanaging funds, as well as the illegals. We're seeing it in live time, real time. They have been the ones sending all these illegals over here, getting them to work instead of American job people. American people should have had those jobs, not the illegals. These, once again, failed democratic policies. Failed. They are a failure in this, and this is why we're in this situation now. They are the ones that protect the Federal Reserve Bank. This nonsense. They are the ones that want to keep the taxes going. Trump is trying to get rid of it. They are rah-rahing for it. Trump was the one that said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Who enjoyed paying taxes? That's why I say, man, it's like, well, yeah, I don't believe that. That was in the big, beautiful bill. You moron, you. That bill got passed. There's many other stuff that's coming. The Democrats was rah-rahing for taxes. You know why? Because weren't they ones got caught by those stealing taxpayers' money, enriching themselves? And most of y'all are broke as a joke, but you still rah-rahing for the Democratic policies that don't give a damn about you, let alone in this country. They have failed policies. That's why none of you have said anything about what's positive that the Democrats have done for American people. They did just like they did the black community, nothing. As long as you vote for us, just like they're doing with the Mexicans and all the rest of them, all these illegals, they just use their butt, because once they're done with them, they're going to kick their ass to the side, just like they did the black community. If y'all illegals think that the Democrats is your friend, this is just a front, because they're going to kick your ass to the side just like they did the black community. They're going to play you the left like Jeff to the left just like they did us. That's a fact. This is what's going on now. These are failed policies once again by this low-down, wicked party that has been orchestrating this stuff the whole time. Now that the light is shed on their ass, they are in panic mode. They send their flunkies in these rooms. They send their bots into these rooms, and they don't have nothing policy to debate me. They won't come up here. They won't, if I drop the link, they won't mic up. They won't come up here without an insult. This is how we know we got them, ladies and gentlemen. We got them. There's nothing to be worried about. But it's going to be a lot of arrests. It's going to be a lot of, after the indictments are over, it's going to be a lot of arrests. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of arrests, you know? We are winning. They are losing. That's why they are in the frantic. Ain't nobody scared of Elizabeth Warren. She's part of the problem. She's a criminal too. Alleged criminal. Right? A criminal. An alleged, look at all these, it's about to go down, an alleged criminal. Big pharma, pay them. Big lobbyists, pay them. That's what I say, failed policies. Just like they fucked over the black community. Then you want to talk about Gaza, like I already said earlier. You don't give a damn about Gaza, because you didn't give a damn about the black community. You don't give a damn about Yemen. I ain't seen none of y'all talk about Yemen. The genocide that's been going on in Yemen, you don't know nothing about it. That's why I know you watch a lot of legacy news, old legacy news, lying fake media news that's about to be taken out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody miss, what's his name, Colbert, you know, Stephen Colbert. Nobody miss his behind. I didn't miss Joyless Reed and what's it, Lemonhead, Don Lemon, and all the rest of them. I didn't miss these people. These people wasn't reporting the real news. These are clowns. All of them are clowns. That's why we won and they lost, and y'all got to deal with it. Yeah, you think you can come and troll in the room. Again, I'm not rattled. Because I stand on truth. You stand on lies. You do the bidding of your master, right? The one that don't give a damn about you. You ain't making $250 million a year. You broke as a joke. You don't give a damn about you. When they come into the hood in the ghetto, you don't give a damn about you. They don't give a fuck about you, right? I can say with Trump, my portfolio, my actual investment portfolio is looking very, very well. And I can say the least, if you were smart, you would be able to do the same thing, right? That's the thing about it, you know? That's the thing about it. But like I said, I love it when you guys come in here. I do. I love the trolls because the trolls make the show. They always do. Trolls make the show, right? Once again, name one policy that the Democrats that benefited everyone. Name one policy where we all have benefited? Name one policy. Name one policy. Buddy, you lost. Ain't about a cabin, about this. You don't have to be intelligent to be rattled. Won't name a policy. And this is what I'm talking about with the liberals. They won't do you this and that. Do. That's how feminine liberals talk. This is their talking points. Look at this. Look at this. They won't name the policy. They can't back it up. Just like I said in the black community. Your Achilles heel is the black community, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not. This is why the mayor of D.C. had to apologize. And actually, she said she thanked Trump. And this was a Democrat mayor. So if that was, for what you guys are in here saying, if that was so true, she wouldn't have thanked Trump. And look at D.C. now. But you guys are just bots, trolls, trolling for a lost cause. Because the majority of the people in this country don't follow your belief. They don't listen to what you're trying to say. You are a small cult minority group that get on the internet and just talk shit. At the end of the day, Trump is light years ahead of you, and you can't stop him. That's a fact. You can talk about him. You can call him names, Orange Man, all this other stuff, but you ain't stopping him. That's a fact. He holding all the leverage right now. The Democrats are not. He's been defeating you and beating you in the Supreme Court. You can send as many of your injunctions as you can, because you think you're gonna hold Trump up until to the midterms. You're sadly mistaken. Every last one of them have been defeated. It's just a fact. That's why I don't mind these people coming in here. All the stuff you said is not bothering me at all. But what I am going to say is, like I've always been saying, America with Trump leading the charge, and we got these these demo KKK rats, we got their asses rattled. And I can't wait till y'all get your one-way ticket and roll the F out of America. That's what you better do. Thank you for the love and the hearts. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for the likes as well, too. Thank you. But, yeah, so that's the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start seeing more of these old yellow belly, feminine, and all the rest of them. We're going to see a lot of them rolling up on out of here, too. Yeah, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to see them rolling up out of here as well. If you don't like it in America, get yourself your plane ticket and get to stepping. It's just that simple. Roll the F up on out of here. We don't want you anyway. We ain't got time for no terrorist-ass, treasonous ass people talking about they care more about these illegals than American citizens. Because I would round your ass up too and ship your behind out of here. You don't even deserve to be an American. Fucking traitors. Traitors. You want to go ahead and back these. That's why I called ICE in the tip hotline every day. In fact, when I get finished with this live, I'm going to call them up again today because I know where a lot of them are. Who you think, how you think they've been knowing, how you think they've been running over here and busting them? Because I do my civic duty. Because I let them know they're not welcome here. I don't want them here. Unless you're legal. You're illegal, you're taking jobs away, right? You're taking money out of the mouths of American people. You are not welcome here. You are not wanted here if you are illegal. You come through the right pathway of citizenship like everybody else. You can't do that, and you got to bounce. Get the hell out of here. Get to stepping. And for you that don't like America, get you a ticket and get to stepping. Do Ellen DeGeneres. Do Rosie O'Donnell. Get the stepping. Stop talking to me and get the stepping. Get your asses on that fucking plane and roll out. It's just that simple. Because you're not going to win. You ain't going to. There's going to be another Trump in the office. You may as well go on and get your, just accept it now. Get your one-way ticket and roll out. It's just that simple. Ain't no more debating. There's no more talking. Get your tickets and roll out. Get to stepping. That's all you got to do. Get to stepping. While you talking to me, you should be on the internet looking at the rates to be able to travel up out of here, find your country where you think that you're going to be better off at. That's what you need to do. Get to stepping. We tired of dealing with y'all. Get to stepping. You ain't got to talk to me. Get to stepping. Buy the one-way ticket, black, white, and other, that you don't like America, and roll on out. That's all you need to do. Right? Right? I appreciate it, Redneck. Boy, I love conservatives, man. I love rednecks, man. Me and rednecks get along just fine. I have no problems when I roll through the South. I have no problems whatsoever. Boy, I said one day I'm going to buy myself a pickup truck my damn self. I'm going to get myself a pickup truck. I'm going to put Trump all on that sucker. I'm going to call my truck Bacon, too. Bacon, me and Bacon is going to ride. We're going to ride. We're going to ride. Because that's what has to happen. With the American flag, we're going to ride, right? And that's what needs to happen. Boy, I'm going to get myself a big pickup truck with a couple of shotguns on the right on the back. I'm gonna have it right on the back of the rifle, on the gun rack. Get myself a gun rack so I can have my long guns, my rifles and everything. Because I love my guns, though. I love my guns. Thank God for the Second Amendment. Boy, redneck, thank God for the Second Amendment, man. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I sure do. I love guns, though, too. And I love the Second Amendment rights. Fuck around and find out today. I tell you that much. Fuck around and find out today. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Boy, but hey, look at it. Redneck, we got a rattle, boy. We got a rattle. Redneck says, LOL, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. Ain't that right? And it's conservatives don't see race. Only fellow Americans. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And brother and sister and God and LOL. That's right. Because that's all we see is brothers and sisters. And I'm in agreement with you, Redneck. That's the thing about it, though, man. All we are is American. Ain't no black American, white American. We just Americans, right? We are Americans living in America, and we want America to be free. As long as you don't fuck with us, we won't fuck with you. But when you fuck with us, then we fuck with you. That's just how it is, Yeah, ride through the South, boy. I tell you, though. And you see, we got them rattled, though, Redneck. They rattled. See them over here? They rattled. Boy, they mad as hell, man, Every time. I'm just smiling, having a great time. Hey, but I just say, man, we got a rattle, boy. They come in here rattle. Man, you got to love it, though. You got to love it, though, man. Hey, hypocrites, lunatics on the left. Look at them. Look at that. Boy, you see that? Man, I tell you, boy, that's something else. Boy, it's like a redneck. Look at my teeth. Yeah, look at them, Well, they don't realize I just ended up drinking something that was red, which is lemonade. No, actually, it was watermelon lemonade. Stuff to stain your teeth. But it's all good, though, man. Yeah, let me smile again. Yep, piss them off. They mad. They are mad, boy. They are mad. Y'all are big mad, man. This is what's up. Man, boy, y'all are something else, man. Y'all are something else, man. I tell you though, the lefties losing it, man. Lefties losing it. Hey, redneck, we got them so mad, redneck. They don't even like calling themselves Democrats no more. I didn't heard more moderates say they moderate now. Well, we know they're Democrats. This is how bad their party is, man. Their party is gone up in flames. They have no leadership, first of all. They have no policies that can help the people. In fact, they've been doing everything under the sun to try to destroy America. That's what I'm saying. For them, they still want to vote Democrat. Why don't you just go on and roll on out? Accept defeat now, and go ahead on and roll on out. That's all you got to do. Roll up on out of America. Ain't no sense in being somewhere that you don't want to go. Why don't you go to India? You can go to China. You can go to Japan. You can go to Korea or the UK or anywhere in Europe or Eastern Europe. You got somewhere to go. Why don't you just do that? You don't want to be under no fascist dictator telling you what to do, right? You don't want to be under that, right? You don't want to be, talking about conservative ways and everything like that, abortion laws and all that. You don't want all that, don't you? Just go ahead on and roll up on right now. Just go on and roll on out. You don't want to be here, right? Boy, I love trolling. Boy, I troll. Y'all are doing me just as bad as the messenger. Shout out to the messenger, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, man, it's funny though, man. It really is. It really is. You know, it's funny. Look at this. Redneck says if America was so bad, they would leave. But I don't see any. I don't see any leaving. Right, except for Rosie O'Donnell. It's true because many of them can't afford to leave. If they can afford to leave, then they would. It's a fact. But since they can't afford to leave, so they figure we'll just be here, just bitch about the president the whole 4 years. Here we go again. Bunch of fucking hypocrites. Let alone, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at this. And then that's the thing about it. I see Jeremiah talking shit, a lot of them talk shit. But why don't you go on and roll on out, Jeremiah? You don't remember. America is a fascist country. It's a racist country. Why don't you roll your ass up on out of here? That's all I'm asking. Why haven't you rolling out? Instead of talking about me, why you ain't roll out? A redneck says, if it's so bad, I know, right? Then why won't other countries take them, right? As in seeking asylum. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's so bad, because you do have that right to, you could say or have the right to go over there and seek asylum. But that's another question if they'll take you. Because doesn't it have to be like a war-torn country that's, yeah. Boy, I tell you. Look at, I love the name calling, boy. And I played the dozen though too. But this is actually weak. Yeah, I say, boy. That's what I say, boy. Look at this one, man. It's just sad. But they are really butthurt about this thing. All because Kamala Harris did not win. Is that what you still butthurt about Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris. She's a black woman. She's gonna win. Oh man. Oh man. Kamala Harris, that idiot, that low IQ person. She's an idiot. DEI at that. Right? Oh, you don't what, Kamala Harris? Oh yeah, what about Joe? I can't remember what my last name is, Biden. That's your champions. Oh man, look at this boy. I love poorly educated. That's cool. But the thing about it is, which is a fact, Trump is the president. Trump has all the leverage. You do not. Your party does not. Hakeem Feminine Jeffries does not. In fact, like I said before, a lot of your so-called leaders are not leaders. They've been fake leaders. You are a ship without a rudder, sir and ma'am. And this is why you're upset. That's why you come into these room spaces and shout. You only big and bad on the internet. But when the shit is real in 3D, it's a whole different situation. Redneck says the brain rot is real. LOL, it is. This is brain rotten stuff, man. Because this is the thing, man. They don't have nothing. But they're screaming like little boys and little girls, like children. They don't have anything. Yeah. Boy, I tell you though, man. Yep. But redneck, I mean, like I said before, man, we are the majority of this country. We are happy who we voted for. And I'm looking forward to seeing the next Trump. Because it's gonna be Trump again. Trump can run for the third term, just like FDR. And Trump will run for the third term. We're gonna get another term of Trump. Trump! You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the thing about it. We're gonna get another term of Donald J. Trump. Aren't you guys all excited too? We got the greatest president ever. That's Donald J. Trump. You know what I'm saying? Trump, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. He got a record, he got a winning record against the Dems. He trolls the Dems. Trump is going back in there, y'all, for another term, right? This is the one that says 34 count felon, right? He should be arrested, right? Hush money files, all that. Epstein files. Come to find out he was an informant the whole time. Y'all been losing on every level. Oh, man, it's the truth. It really is, Redneck. It's the truth. They don't have anything other than name call. Talk about Trump, Orange Man, 34 count felon. I'm going to get the shirt. I'm going to go ahead and get the shirt. Trump, a felon, 34 count felon. I'm going to get the shirt. I need to get that shirt. I'm going to wear that shirt. Remember, he was one supposed to be locked up. He was the one that's supposed to be locked up. Redneck says, I'm a Southern born and raised, am not ashamed of where I came from. That's right. I have mixed son. My baby's mama is black. There you go. I love all Americans, right? Regardless of their love regardless if they love our country or not. Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. And there's nothing wrong with it, man. There's a lot of white guys I know that got black baby mamas, you know? There's a lot of black guys I know too that got a lot of black baby mamas, you know? Somebody black mama, somebody that's black that's a female gonna be a baby mama by somebody. I will hope. That's right. Yeah. Black baby mama, you know? Hopefully you can get one without the drama. You know, that's what's going on. If you can find you a black baby mama without the drama, good luck on that one. I can't even help you out on that one. Redneck says, we're all on this planet together. That's right. I'm just trolling, but I'm just saying, I troll back when they troll me. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We all are on this planet at the same time, though. But you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? So yeah, good luck to you and your your black baby mama. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Black baby mama, white baby mama. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problems with the mamas. I like it better without the drama. But hey, can't have both, right? But yeah, man, it's been a beautiful thing though. But you're right though, Redneck though. On the real thing, on the real tip, America is healing. It's getting better now. You know, we got a lot of policies in play. Things are looking up and things like that. And we're gonna see a lot more when he take down the Federal Reserve. We don't have to worry about paying taxes at all. The IRS, all that stuff is going to be out of here, going back to the constitutional republic, you know what I'm saying, back over here, Democratic Republic. We're going to go back to what it really was supposed to be for United States of America, not just United States. So we're going back to the fundamentals of what the forefathers, the founder and forefathers have set it up, you know, because it's unlawful to pay taxes. I'm looking forward to once they dismantle the Federal Reserve and get rid of the IRS, where we don't have to pay taxes no more. I'm really looking to, well, I know they're going to do it. They're going to have to go back in there and ratify the 16th Amendment. And this has to be taught. It has to be put into, I would say, when it comes down to the amendments, you know, about what, to make sure that there's no Federal Reserve Bank ever to be created in America again. and this stuff have to be taught to our children as well too, because the children are the future. Many people don't know the inner workings of the central bank and things like that. So once that has been toppled and dismantled and removed, we are going to see wealth in this country like we never have seen before in our life. And I'm just looking forward to that. Even for the naysayers, though, unfortunately, you'll get a chance to benefit as well once that day has come along. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's really what it really is, and things. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, though, man. Just seeing the policies. Oh yeah, what else? Yeah, the health thing is turning around as well. RFK Jr. is doing a hell of a job battling Big Pharma. This is why Elizabeth Warren lost her damn mind the other day. I always love seeing her get upset. You know, you made a promise. You made a promise. Oh, man. I love seeing her rattle. She rattled big man. Big man, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the likes. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren is big man, boy, you know. Poor Elizabeth Warren, you know, ripping off American people and things. Nobody don't get enriched like that. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. You know, these people are enriching themselves to the taxpayers' money and all these other NGOs and stuff. They don't have nothing. They can't hide no more, you know. How do you feel about Nasty Pelosi? What about her? The one that beat the S&P 500. She should be the whiz kid on Wall Street, right? She better than Warren Buffett, right? This is the one that never won, never lost, right? Oh, man. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas Warren, right? And then you got Nancy Pelosi. What about her? You know? Oh, man. Man, disgusting, man. They whole party is booty, man. Every last one of them. Redneck says she is corrupt. Absolutely. They're all corrupt. You're right about that, though, man. Everybody is seeing it. Because their arguments is getting, you know, this redneck, their arguments are getting weaker and weaker. I'm talking about the Democratic elites, the so-called elites. Their argument is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. RFK Jr. is kicking their ass. He's kicking their ass, boy. RFK, you doing your thing, though. You know? Because I love how he's been bringing more and more information out. And we're discovering autism, too. And what is the causes of that. Especially, as he said, just kind of repeating a little bit what he said, is mainly found predominantly more in youth, like young black males. Which I didn't even know that either. I did not know that, man. So, you know, but that's the thing about it. But yeah, man, Redneck, we are really doing the thing, though, man. America is on the comeback. The black grips are, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about any of these grifting liars, lunatic, left, feminist, soy boys. You know, and like I said, I really dislike a liberal male more than a liberal woman. Because men ain't supposed to be in their femininity like this, but many of them are, and they come in the room. That's why it's a joke, just looking at them and laughing at them, and I love trolling them too, you know. But at any event, man, yeah, like I said before, we are winning. The border is shut down, mass deportation. Promise that, getting their asses up on out of here. Crime is being curtailed. Wait till they go into Chicago. All this stuff about Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker, just all talk. National Guard's going to come there. They're going to flood the zone, as they said, establish a beachhead out to our operation, shut down, make sure eyes are everywhere. You know, it'll be a matter of time, and when it does happen, because they don't have no resources in there and things like that, it's going to be a lot of arrests. We're going to take down these sanctuary cities. One by one, 19 of them is on the list. I know the list, I got the list, so that's where they're going to be going. Yeah, Chicago, you're going to be liberated. I love that group out there called Chicago Flipping Red. Shout out to Danny C. out there. Danny, you know, I talked with her before. Some of the other ones that's over. These are black women that's over that party out there in Chicago. Flipping Chicago Red, shout out to, because they pretty much have flipped Chicago red in the Chicago area, but for the predominant blacks and some of the Mexicans that are Hispanics that are there too, and Latinos, because a lot of them that are legal here too, that don't like a lot of these illegals over here because they messing it up for them too. I've talked with a lot of them too, man. They don't like the fact that a lot of them can come over here illegal, just in general. So shout out to Chicago. You guys are doing your job, doing it well. And don't worry, Tom Homan said he's coming. He's gonna bring the National Guards are gonna be coming though. It's not a damn thing they can do about it. They just get online and just talk shit. They ain't gonna advocate. They ain't going out there stopping nothing. Just a waste of time. They just all talk. That's all the liberals do. They just do nothing but a bunch of talk. They don't have no action. They just all talk. All bark and no bite. That's what it is. No bite. So yeah, redneck. Taking back America. Yep, taking back America, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, taking back America. Riley, we are taking back America. Riley Lopez. Riley Lopez. Hola, ¿cómo está? Huh? Oh man, Riley. Yes, that's me, boy. Riley Lopez. Boy, Riley been on here, boy, and she pops on here. She pops on here periodically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she pops on here and things, though. I let them say that. Riley Lopez talking in your car, big man. Tell me something that I don't know, Riley Lopez. Hey, Riley, I want to ask you a question. Are you legal or are you an illegal citizen? Just let me know the truth. I'm just asking. Are you legal? Ye or yes? Is that ye supposed to be yes? Is that yes? You think I'm American? No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking you a question. I said, if you are, let me say this right. First of all, are you an American? And if so, if you are an American, are you an American or are you an illegal? Just yes or no. Yeah. Bruh, I serve homie. I tried to give him a chance. I tried to give him a chance. But Riley, for real though, Riley, I'm just asking though, right? Are you an American citizen or are you not? Right? I'm just asking, Riley. Are you an American citizen or are you not? That means yes, Air Force. Air Force, I know people just be on here just talking. I know people on here, and I rock with the military. I got a lot of military that follow me. You do know that, or maybe you don't. I got friends in the military, all branches. I got a lot of Marines especially, you know what I'm saying? But they love coming. They love my channel. Truckers do. Yep. Farmers. People in America, they love coming on here when they talk to me when I go live. I'm going to try to go live a little bit more, just for the trolls, right? No, I'm just kidding. It ain't going to just be for the trolls. It's going to be for everybody, right? Riley Lopez, I fought for freedom for everyone. I fight for freedom whenever there's trouble. I should say G.I. Riley Lopez is there. G.I. Riley Lopez. Oh, man, Yeah, gotta have a little fun with you. But I appreciate you serving in the military, though. I don't want to belittle that, you know what I'm saying? Air Force is included, you know what I'm saying? So I salute you, We don't have to agree on politics. As you can see, I can still have a conversation with you. Riley Lopez says, sure, my point still stands. Hey, Riley, did I rattle you enough? Did I get you upset and rattle you? Did I get in your feelings? I'm just asking, are you in, you seem like you're in your feelings. Are you in your feelings though, Riley Lopez? No, I just think everyone should come to America. Now, hold on for a minute, Riley. Let's only have this conversation. Let's have a real conversation. Why do you feel that everybody should come to America? So in other words, you don't believe in no borders, right? Everybody should come over here, right? Everybody should not be no borders, no vetting process. No, you don't believe, isn't that great? Unfortunately, Riley, it's not. It's not great. It is the land of the free. In fact, it's the land of the free, home of the brave. Let's understand that first of all. But if you, all right, well, if you let me explain, I can tell you, right? Because when you have open borders, it causes chaos. Look at country. Look at, for instance, look at Canada. Look at how it's going right now. Look at UK. These are prime examples. UK is over flooded with illegal immigrants, especially a lot of Muslims over there. But what I was told from a person that lives in the UK, they were saying about total, some of the major cities like Birmingham, London is 35% Muslims that came into the to the UK. You got other countries as well. You cannot have a country when you have an open border policy. I'm all for people becoming a citizen. I'm all for a vetting process. Remember, you asked me, so I'm telling you. So you got to allow me to be able to say my thing, but if you just going to keep typing and talking without really listening to me, what I'm saying. You asked me why I do not agree, right? That's what you asked. I said, if you allow me, I can tell you. Okay, thank you. So the thing about it is, when you allow people, remember before, we had that under Joe Biden, if you remember. You've been in the military or not, but 4 years ago, we had Joe Biden. We had Kamala Harris, right? Kamala was the border czar, right? We had Alejandro Mayorkas, right? We had these people, and what they were doing, they were flooding America with illegal immigrants by far. It's said to be well over 15 million that entered into this country. So they weren't all just innocent people. We had criminals that came in under that same coming into an entrance into America. But the problem is that the Democrats' liberal policies have given the safety net, welfare, and other set-aside programs that was for American people over to the illegals. With one thing in mind, and one thing in mind is if you vote Democrat. Also, what they did is that these people were never vetted, as I said before. They was not sworn in to be American citizens. Remember, we have a process. You know, we have a process under the Constitution. You just cannot just send people in the country, and that's what they were doing. Remember, I wasn't the only one that was angry when they did this. They took a lot of set-aside programs out the mouths of Americans, and they gave it to these illegals. And this is the reason why we have the issues and problems that we're having right now. The crime for these illegals, True Day Alagra, True Day Alagra, and then we had MS-13. We had these groups that were, these gang members that were coming in here as well. You had other criminals that were coming in. It wasn't just Hispanics. I'm not picking on Latino community. We had other Indians were coming through here. Chinese were coming through here. There was a lot of other ethnic groups coming in here, and they were living off of our system. We can't. No country can support any type of mass immigration into a country. We just can't do it. You got to understand that we only have a certain amount of money set aside for American citizens, right? This was the problem was, and this is why it rubbed the majority of Americans the wrong way. This is one of the main reasons, that we're talking about, Riley. One of the main reasons is simply this. Most Americans don't like this. We're not saying that they can't come over here, but we just expect there's a process. And when you violate that process, it rubs people the wrong way that are already legal. You even have Mexicans and other people that were already legal that went through the process. They said, why did these people jump the line when we had to go through the process? And this is one of the main reasons why remember who voted for, it wasn't just whites that voted for Trump, you should know this. You also had the Latino community, right? They voted. It was a certain amount of blacks and others. They were not feeling this. There's Asian people that voted for Trump. They weren't feeling this. That's the reason why I say what I say. And this is one of the main reasons as to why. Whether you believe it or believe it or not, whether you believe it or not, look at UK, look at Canada, Look at these countries, right? Look at them. Because this was this is basically what ended up happening. Whether you believe it or not, I'm just saying. It's a crime element involved to this. Let me read what you say. Riley says, not yet. Can't see people out without due process. Oh, come on, Riley. You repeating due process. They don't, what you mean due process? We don't have to have due process because they're illegal. You try to put them on the same footing as us. They're not on the same footing. Illegals don't get those opportunities at all. Round you up and process you to be deported. It's just that simple. Because if you feel that way, Riley, why don't you open your door to some of these illegals? Bring them into your home. Why don't you do that? Why don't you guys that disagree with that thing like illegals should be over here? Why don't you open your doors, right? Why don't you invite them into your homes? If you feel that much about it, because it's, to me, it's sounding more hypocritical than ever. You know, every place have borders around it to keep unwanteds out in the country. That's just how it is. But again, if you don't believe that, you know, shame on you. You know, Jim Mint says Trump 2028. I know that's right, Jim Mint. Yep, I know that's right. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Riley. You know what I'm saying? That is exactly. But see, you quote the Constitution. The Constitution don't apply to them. It only applies to people in America, right? American sovereign citizens here in America, not illegals. See, you trying to put them on the same footing as us, and I can't allow you to do that. Says who? Says what? The Constitution. We're talking about citizens. Another, what you may not know this though, Riley. I'm gonna educate you again on the Constitution. 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment belong to blacks only. You know why? Because the 13th Amendment is the abolishment of slavery. 14th Amendment, where it talks about birthright citizenship. That means us. After slavery was over, the whites had to what were they going to do with the blacks that were ex-slaves? They had to write something in the law to give them citizenship into this country. 15th Amendment, right, to allow us to vote. The voting for blacks is the 15th Amendment, right? These were amendments that were specifically designed for blacks that have went through the slavery process and all the other horrific stuff that have gone on, right? But what pisses me off is when the Democrats try to put illegals under that moniker, and I'm not going to allow them to do it because you don't get to do that. That was specifically designed. That's why Trump wrote an executive order banning birthright citizenship, because he understands this, the Constitution just like I understand it. See what I'm saying? So that's why he put an executive order banning birthright citizenship. He understands the history of it. Many of you don't, because you're running with the lies that the narratives that the Democrats have lied to you and told you. Because if it wasn't unconstitutional, he would not have written it. Remember, Trump is a constitutionalist, whether you want to believe it or not. That's why he's been whooping the Dems all the time. Name something that the Dems won that Trump put a policy where he couldn't do. He'd take it to the court, but he's going to win it. So that's what I'm saying, though, right? It is what it is. So that's the reason why, right? Let me see if we read back over here. Hold on for a minute. No, it's not all. What you don't understand is as I stated before, we're talking about the original 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, right? We're talking about that. We're talking about those on the Constitution, right? Talking about that. I'm saying for what it really is. Because don't you find it strange that Trump wrote an executive order banning the 14th Amendment? Why did he do that? Let me ask you this question. Why did he do that? This ain't about a debate whether they should be here or not. Y'all lost that debate. You don't have any footing on that no more. This is why the roundups and the deportation is happening. Google is so great, deport them all. Well, yeah, Google's is so great. They are being deported. They are being deported. That's why they're trying to hide out right now. Because that stuff, that crap that they're talking about, if that was so true, then that would stop them. But it's not because they're not citizens of America. They're illegals. This due process stuff. No. None of that. That Garcia, what's the other dude that they round up out of here, the man from Maryland? You guys have lost that battle. You don't have that battle no more. You lost it. You always wonder how they can find these people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're working in conjunction with the IRS. Remember they gave out this, what's it, Social Security and all this other stuff? They can find where these illegals are and just pick them up. I mean, I'm just saying though, you lost that. You lost that. Yeah, just like with the 400 and was it 470 illegal immigrants over there? I talked about this earlier. Over in the Hyundai plant, that was totally illegal. It was a middle finger to the American people by hiring all those illegals. I'm not sympathetic. They rounded them all up, and they're gonna roll them up on out of here. It's like what Google said before. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Google said before, right? He said round them all up, and that's what the administration has been doing. The Trump ICE has been doing this. They've been rounding them all up. That's the whole thing, though. So you're not gonna win that. Y'all lost that war. You lost that one. You can come on here and say your piece, but it ain't stopping the damn thing, though. That's my whole point. It's not gonna stop anything, right? You did because look at it. What you think they're gonna do with those 470 illegal immigrants? You think they're gonna let them go in America, or do you think they're gonna be deported? You know this. You know this, though. I mean, you already know this. No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about the illegals, right? Which you brought it up. You said about the Hyundai thing. I talked about that earlier. What do you think they're going to do with them when they routed all these illegals up? You know what they're going to do to them. They're going to be deported. Every last one of them. Ain't nobody has been stopping this. I'm just saying, nobody has been stopping this, dog, Riley. I'm just saying. You know it, and I know it. Nobody has been stopping it. Nobody on the DMs have been stopping it. Because Trump has the Constitution behind him. The Democrats do not. That's a plain and fact. That's just how it is. Thank you for the other like. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the hearts and likes. Thank you so much. But this is what it is, Riley. If they had the upper hand in the footing, then things would be different, but they don't. They were going to lose. I was like, to me, it was an insane person trying to fit the Constitution, just like you tried to do that with the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. It ain't work. They're still being deported out of here because people understand what that, I understand. May not a lot of blacks and others understand it. I understand it because, as a history buff, I love history, right? I don't know everything about history, but I knew enough about that, right? So the thing about it is, your party, if you voted Democrat, they're not winning anything. They're not winning nothing. They're losing everything. And you're losing and pissing the majority of the American people off. That's what I'm saying. America was not designed to have a flood of illegals coming into this country. No country can sustain itself like that. That's ridiculous. It's foolish to sit up here and try to make that into something and knowing that it can't sustain itself. I already gave you examples of other countries. Their actual societies are going to crumble and collapse, just like the UK. They're on the verge of going down. They've already been overtaken by the Muslims over there. It's already happening already. Whether you want to agree or not, the facts are still the facts. They're rolling up on out of here. The majority of the people voted for this because we understood we wanted this. And there's no pushback. The little pushback that the left tried to do have lost in the Supreme Court. You've lost on every level. You got to understand this, though. That's why you got these yahoos and yo-yos coming in here just trolling because they don't have anything else. And when you lose it like a spoiled little brat, I'm not saying you, I'm talking about the others that come in here, they know they're losing. That's why they're doing what they're doing. They know their party have lost. They know this. So, in other words, I just go to name call. Name call the president or anybody that stand with Trump. You know what I'm saying? So, if that would be the case, then, I mean, shit, you should be winning. You should be having all the legals over here. Trump should be losing. I mean, remember, y'all said he was a 34 count felon, right? You're the one that said he was on Epstein Island and the pedo and all this other stuff. This is what the left said. And they've been wrong about everything. Everything they've been wrong. He's been right about everything, they've been wrong about everything. They try to lock this innocent man up. Russia, Russia, Russia. All that stuff is coming out. All the facts and files are coming out about that under Tulsi Gabbard. You can't foo-foo this away by saying it's a lie, because if that would be the case, he should be in prison. Trump should be in prison if this is a fact. If it's a fact about him being a criminal, he should be locked up. Right? He should be locked up. Remember, the Dems at one time had all the control at one time, right? We winded back 4 years ago. We know that Obama would have been running everything. I'm just saying. So your party does not have anything to stand on at this point, especially with immigration. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. You're looking at people that are on the brink of being indicted to be arrested. And Obama is at the top. You got Clapper, right? Comey, Susan Rice, and a lot of rest of them, man. Right down the list that was involved with that Russia hoax. Just with that alone. And you do realize is that if they are found guilty, which they will be, that's going to be the end of the Democratic Party. Because more and more people are seeing this. This ain't about charisma. This is about what he has done against the American people. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. This is about the treasonous acts and the sedition that these people have done against the American people. They tried to oust a sitting president, which was Trump, back in 2016, and then they did it again in 2020. These are facts. Whether you don't have to agree with it or not, they are the ones that are looking at treason, and I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. All the information that Tulsi Gabbard, they had information from 2016 and 2020, right? And she's still bringing out more factual information. Remember, they were the ones that put the lies out about Trump, saying that how Russia was involved and how they had a lot to do with, he had to have Russia in order for it to win the people. No, the people voted for Trump. We didn't need Russia. The majority of the people in this country wanted Trump because of his policies. His policies were better than the Democratic Party policies. That's a fact. The Democrats ran on names insults. You can't win an election that way. Just ask Kamala Harris. You cannot win an election that way. You got to be able to bring the people what you are offering that is better than what Trump is offering. I'm sure Kamala had every opportunity for last year, right? She had every opportunity to present to the American people what she can offer better than what Trump was offering. She failed to do that, right? She failed to do that. She had every opportunity. That's what I'm saying, though, Riley. She had every opportunity. Yeah, I know a lot of Trump's policies, but it's not going to matter to most of you that's against Trump, because all I see is a bunch of name calling and other things without knowing and understanding his policies for real. You still can't understand why 80 million people voted for Trump in the first place the second term around. We're talking about last year, 2024, right? When we had the election, damn near 80 million people voted for Trump. And the Democrats were trying to cheat then. If it wasn't for the lawyers being at those polls and stuff, Lord Trump did an excellent job to make sure that those areas were secure. We won Pennsylvania. Remember, Pennsylvania used to be a blue state. It's a red state now. North Carolina is a red state now. It used to be a blue state. Remember how FEMA fucked over them? Remember that when we had that hurricane or whatever that was? You know what I'm saying? The flooding and all that? Those people didn't forget about that. They said they were going to vote. And then let's talk about Texas. Sure. Since the redistricting back, it's a red state. Little specks of blue, but it's a majority red state. So you mean to tell me that the Democrats still have a chance to win after all these things? What about LA? What about California? There used to be a beauty. That state used to be, those state cities in that state used to be very beautiful. A lot of them are conservatives now voting for Trump. They never forgot what they did in LA. That guy, Knucklehead Newscomb, turned off the spigot and let that city burn like that. They didn't forget either. They did not forget. So it's going to be a hard time without the illegals for the Democrats to win. And if they take their behind to them polls, they will be arrested and deported. I'm just saying, that's exactly what they waited for them to show up at those polls. And they are going to get arrested. And they will be deported. They're not showing up at those polls, no way. They're going to try to hide out in America as long as they can. I'm just saying, though, Raleigh, your party has no footing whatsoever. It doesn't. We can have these conversations, but you know and I know the truth is the truth. The Democrats' rating is so far low, if they could make it to a primary, I'll be very surprised. Because too much evidence of what they tried to do, and it doesn't sit with the majority of the American people for their policies. I wouldn't call them policies, it's just trickery and conversion. Trickery and conversion is what the Democrats were doing. You even got a large groups of blacks now that are voting Republican in my community. Not just Latino, but in my community as well. Why do you think that is? You got to deal with the facts of what I'm talking about to you. Because all this other stuff is just whistling in the wind. You know, we're just spinning tires here at this point. You got to admit, Donald Trump ran a very great campaign, 2016, 2020, 2024. It's just a known fact, without no cheating. They were the ones that lied and said that this man cheated. He don't have to cheat. He had the numbers in 2020. But Biden, they cheated to get Biden in there. That was a fact. 80 million people voted for Biden. No way. No way. Biden did not have a better policy than Trump. Trump's policies is way better. And look what happened in 2024. Your girl lost. Kamala Harris, she lost bad. They even had to lie with the numbers to make it look like it wasn't no competition. And this is why the left went crazy. They were crying, upset, having a nervous breakdown. You know, these were things that were going on. They absolutely, just ask Linda Lee. Wasn't she the campaign manager that raised all that money towards for the Democrats? And she been blasting who? Gavin Knucklehead Newsom big time. You know what I'm saying? You think that Lindsay Lee forgot about what the Democrats did to her and the people that invested all that money? They were spending money on, what's her name? Money was being wasted, right? Did we forget about this? I didn't forget about this stuff. Your party is gone. You have nothing. Just face the facts. You don't have anything. People did not forget that either, right? You rarely saw Kamala Harris on the campaign trail. Trump was, you seen Trump out there as well as J.D. Vance. They was out there every day hitting the campaign. She played hide and seek on the campaign. Everybody know it. She wanted to have this perfectly fake studio just to speak. Information had to be fed to her with those phony earbuds that look like earrings. They had all this stuff on this woman. It wasn't no surprise that she lost. I wasn't worried one bit. I knew Trump was going to win. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Let us not forget, though, Riley. Let's not forget. Let's not forget about this stuff. I'm walking you down on all the things that the Democrats have done of stopping Trump, and they have failed on every level. Their policies was garbage, and it's still garbage. You mean to tell me that you stand for all these illegals coming to this country and American people, and they taking jobs, taking all the set-aside programs, and we're supposed to be, and we call it out as racism. Bull crap. It's not right. It's just not right. Yeah, it's like the American dream does exist. I'm all for the American dream, Riley. But what I'm saying is, the American dream, let's work on them becoming a citizen. This is what it used to be. You make it like this should be. No, it was always like this. Let's work on them becoming citizens. We have to vet them. We have to find out what they into. You know, I can't be a Japanese citizen. It requires a 4-year degree. Why? Because therefore, skilled jobs, there's jobs, tech jobs that they need filling. Anybody can go over there and push a broom, but let that be at least they're not that crazy to allow illegals in their country. Now, things have changed now about Japan, because they are trying to bring in, migrants, though. But that is a different situation than what we're talking about, because Japan does not have open borders, right? There's countries out there that just does not have open borders. Poland don't have open borders. Switzerland does not have open borders. We're going to name the countries. You can't get into Switzerland just because you think it's right. There's a process in order to be a Swiss citizen. It's one of the hardest citizenships to get. Anybody know? No. You know? So therefore, they're not taking the miles out of American people. You discount us, and you are disingenuous by wanting free borders for everybody. You piss off a lot of American people, Ronnie. You do. You really do. And I'm trying to really talk to you, and I may not ever convince you. And I know, see, and the thing is about that wall, that's what's saving America. Because there's walls in Poland and other places too. You got to have a wall. This is how it is. But I don't know how old you are, Riley, and it really doesn't matter. But the thing about it is simply this. It goes back to my point again. We just cannot sustain open borders, allowing everybody into the country. We just can't do it. Riley, we just can't do it. Riley says, good. I don't care if people are angry. I just like all folks. I like all folks too. You make it sound like I don't like foreigners. What I don't like is illegals when they come over here illegally. That's what I don't like. I don't like that. Why not? We have the funds. No, we have the funds for our country, for our citizens, sovereign people here in America, not for everybody trying to come over here illegal. And that's where the disconnect is between me and you, which is fine. You're entitled to have your own opinion. I respect that, truthfully. But you just can't have an open society like that. It never will work. Because look what happened under Kamala Harris' watch. She was a border czar. She failed America by allowing a lot of illegals. What she did is considered treasonous, to be really honest, because it goes against the Constitution, as I said earlier. Alejandro Mayorkas, they were working that border. They lied to the American people and said that the border was secure when it wasn't. Trump didn't lie to the American people. He told the truth. He said the border is secure, which it is. They said the 10th mountain division military there, as well as a lot of other divisions of the military. You a military person, you know this. You know this. The border is more secure than it ever has been before, ever has been in the history of this country. We're more secure now than ever. Not only that Trump said he was going to build a wall, but he was going to have the Mexican government pay for it, and he did. Because there was a lot of fentanyl and a lot of other things that you never talked about. This ain't about just illegals. We had a crisis with drugs that was flooding into America by way of China. Isn't that a fact? That's exactly what ended up happening. There was a lot of Americans dying at the hands of the cartel and those fentanyl drugs. It was coming through Canada too. That's why the tariffs were put into place to get they behind together. And plus we had to send the military down at the southern border to shut that down. There's been strategic hits on the cartel. We know the cartel run Claudia Sheinbaum. We know they run her, just like they run all the other Mexican presidents. This ain't nothing new. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the border has to be secure, because there was a lot of fentanyl coming through there. See, you never brought that up. I was waiting on you to bring that up. Fentanyl was coming up through here by the droves. Roddy says Repubs deny as sending a bill that have lowered, let me see here, coming over, deny. Roddy says, hey, I got a nerd shit to do. I heard shit to do. I'm down for the debate again later. I got to, okay, I appreciate you though. No problem at all. No problem at all. I remember, I think I remember you before though. I've seen your name come up. Sometimes I get on my red soapbox. I may not see all the comments. But I like this one here though, and things. I like military. Yeah. Stay safe. You too. I appreciate you. I enjoy your debate as well. I appreciate you. And see, this is what I'm saying though, you know. She may not have to agree on the things coming from the Republicans and the MAGA and all that and Trump. She stated, she said she likes everybody. She don't think that open borders should be, she think it should be no borders at all. Everybody should come in here, right? And everybody should play along and get along just fine. She had enough balls and nerve to be able to stand on her, on what she believed in, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why I say, you know, I welcome some debates, but the ones that won't do what she did, they just get on here to call names. I can't tell if it's a bot or somebody really trolling. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all coming into the live today. It's been real great. I'm just taking a break. Many of you may or may not know, yeah, I do sit in my car more a lot than at home in the studio. You know, I drive Uber, you know, Uber, Lyft, you name it, you know. That's what I do. I enjoy doing it. Been doing it for a long time. So, and my breaks, I go over here and do these things. So, you know, I've been called Nutty Professor and everything, you know. Got myself a date. I'm going to feel great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't, yeah. So it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kia Forte, you got it. Got my garage door opener too. You know, I've been waiting all day long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Fat Albert. Hey. Yeah, I can clown on myself too. It's all good. Yeah, so it's all good, though. Yep, I could have used the Nutty Professor, you know. Okay, Roddy says, I gotta go. See ya. I appreciate you, Riley. Thank you for the heart. I'll see you next time and things like that. When I come up with the next topic, I think I got one. But yeah, we had these debates. It's cool. And I welcome anybody else out here as well too. You know, don't be shy. You can step up on here and talk about some things or whatever. You know, we ain't got to agree on everything. It's like what Redneck said earlier. We're still an American family. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got to really know someone rather than hate someone. You know, you shouldn't hate me because of my political orientation. You shouldn't hate your brother. You know, if anything, though, we should support one another. I don't hate nobody coming here. Yeah, you hate it, so and so. I may troll, but it's all in good fun. I'm just funny, you know what I'm saying? But at any event, yeah, I appreciate you guys though coming in here. We had a really, really good live today. You know, I was gonna push it back to later, but I said no, I'm gonna be a perfect break. Get out here, stretch, get my stretch on and things like that. Just got back from the chiropractor again. Had another treatment on the knee. I'm gonna tell you guys, man, that laser chiropractic procedure, non-surgical, works. Man, before, man, I had a lot of arthritis in the knee. Boy, that laser, though it does its thing, though, just allow more blood flow to get to the area that's injured, you know. So therefore, it takes a lot of the pain and all the stiffness away, you know, for the most part of it. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Modern technology today. You guys should check them out, though, you know. You really should. If you're ever in the Detroit area, just go to what's it? Life in Motion. I'm giving them a free plug. Life in Motion. Life in Motion. Yep, that's the place you want to go in Livonia, Michigan. You want to go over there. Life in Motion. Let them know what's your pain, the ailment that's going on with your joints. They deal with all joints. You know what I'm saying? All joints and all the issues though too. And they got that laser. They can go in there though, and you know, I think the application, the sessions, like I think it's 8 minutes or 10-minute sessions where they go in there and just run that laser, man, and you just keep up with a few of the treatments. I got another treatment for next week, but at any event, yeah, you guys want to check that out though, you know. But at any event, man, I appreciate you coming on here, Riley Lopez. I appreciate you very much coming on here, debating against me and things like that, debating against your brother, you know what I'm saying, from another mother, you know, but it's all good. Yep. So other than that, let me see here. I think we covered all the main stuff over here. Let me see here. Susan Thompson says, pitiful. Do you live in your vehicle? Yeah, because I know she's been in here. I get that a lot. That's understandable, though, too, you know, because I do a lot of lives, mainly from my car. Bertha Banks says, bye, Felicia. That's a reference off of Friday, you know. Yeah, Bertha, you know. Bertha Banks says, who's listening to this person? That's you, Bertha. Bertha. Yeah, she's about to go into birth pretty soon. Zesty Snipes says, your audio is muffled. It might have cleared out since then. This is earlier. Let me see here. Mark, he comes in this room too. Mark Peace and Pan Africanism. My fellow black brother. I got to do the civil rights style. Conscious brothers. My, we all united under the guidance of Dr. Umar Johnson and Al Sharpton. Hell, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I got to get into, I got to get into, character. Yeah. Alvin Johnson says, stop it, nutty professor. Yeah. I'm your nutty professor. Yeah. Oh, man. Man. Yeah, it's fun reading the comments. Even the trolls sometimes, it's fun reading them. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just get it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I like to do the nutty professor imitations, which I can do really well. Yeah, I appreciate you showing up, Redneck, backing your brother up. You know, some and Google too, you know. Jeremiah, boy, I tell you, yeah, just like Trump, bone spurs. Boy, I tell you, boy, Jeremiah, is that something to say about your brother? I bet this guy didn't serve. I bet you this guy didn't serve. And you're right, I didn't serve. I'm just reading some of Jeremiah's stuff. Jeremiah says, your age and IQ are the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Roddy said, talking in your car, big man. Yeah, I'm a big man, all right. And a big appetite, too. Get in my belly, you know. Butcher Harris says, you still here? Let me see here. The Watchman says, keep talking like people are listening. Jeremiah says, LOL, you are an American sellout. You forgot Coon and you forgot, Coon and stuff, the old sellout. Yeah, you are an American sellout. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me see here. What else here? Yeah, this over here. You know, you can't make sense of this stuff because they're all in their feelings. And, you know, Jeremiah says, this is the same country that had people drinking from different water fountains and colored bathrooms. He's still back in the civil rights era. You ain't seen no sign. You know damn well, Jeremiah, that you ain't lived that life that your grandparent or your great, depending on how old you are, if you a Zenio, it's going to probably be your great grandparents. You know damn well you ain't lived that life. You making it sound like this happening right now. We got color water fountains, colors only. Oh man, corruption hurts. Different laws for different people. Yeah, it's true. There's different laws for different people. Yeah. Um, yeah, just looking at some of this stuff here. Is Elizabeth Warren still Indian? No, she stopped using that after she was exposed. I'm just over to read some of these old comments, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but Elizabeth Warren, she used to go by saying that she was so much percentage Indian. She don't say that no more. You know damn well she a white woman. Knock it off now, please. You know, she ain't been going by Pocahontas in a long time. I don't think she called herself Pocahontas. She called herself an Indian. And come to find out that wasn't true because people went in there and investigated. You know, have you ever heard of the $5 Indian? When the Indians was giving out set asides and from the Indian Treaty, from the government, American government, what was it? The Indian Treaty of 1865, I believe it is. So at any event, Pocahontas, I should say, hold on for a minute. That spit, damn. But what I was going to say is that there was a thing called the $5 Indian. And with the $5 Indian, whites paid $5 to belong to these Indian tribes, especially a lot of your civilized tribe Indians as well. Now, I do have Indian heritage on my mother's side, which is Cherokee. But for people that are white saying they're Indians, chances are, and a lot of them say Cherokee, but the Cherokees were the ones that also accepted the $5 Indian thing, where you know they paid $5 was a lot of money back then to an Indian tribe, just to belong to the tribe to say by name, right? You start looking at Creek Indians, you start looking at a lot of these other Indians, and then what they did is they started coming up with the Dawes rolls, I believe, where they said that you have to have a quarter of this or that, the drug, the blood, quantum blood, and all that stuff to verify. And you got to prove that you're a real Indian stuff. All that was done well afterwards, though. I'm kind of getting off the topic, but this is addressed to people like Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren and things like that. So yeah. Let me see here. D. Flores says, trolls alert. These simps don't care about truth. Yeah, I understand though. I know D. I know they don't. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I do like to troll the trolls. You know what I'm saying? Y'all right along with them, trolling right on back with them. You know, but maybe some of them will come around and maybe some of them won't. You know, but yeah, we're just talking about how this country is back on target now. Everything is looking a lot nicer. We defeated woke. That's another thing. Good. I'm so glad to see that stuff go away. We even had to back up Cracker Barrel, you know, got them together, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things now. We're starting to come back to normalcy now, you know. About time, man, have some normalcy, you know. I'm not against the LGBTQ, you know, I'm not against them. All I'm saying is that I don't think it's fair for taxpayers to have to pay for their surgeries and stuff. And some of them, thank you for the like, I appreciate it. I also don't agree about the mutilation of children. Also, I don't like the fact that men, I call them men, I don't call them transgender and all this stuff. They don't belong in women's bathrooms at all. I'm so glad that we don't follow any of that stuff. So, because when you come here to this state, you'll see one female, which says woman's bathroom and men's restroom. Women's restroom and men's restroom. These are the only two that we should see. Everything else, you may want to go home for that stuff. Not telling you that you can't put on women's clothing and all this other stuff, but we're not going to recognize it, and we don't like to see men playing in women's sports. So this is what we voted for. There's a lot of other things I could talk about too, and things, but yeah, we don't want to see any of this stuff anymore. And I'm so glad that we won against woke, we won against DEI. We want. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. We want real people that are qualified, merit-based only, right? I wouldn't want somebody flying a plane and stuff and they're not qualified. Seeing what happened with the crash last year, to seeing what happened to that. I appreciate you. Yep, yep. Stormy, yep. Stormy, Garvin. There we go. Got the hearts in the house. I appreciate y'all though. Your boy Nutty Professor is breaking it down again. I should go by that as a code name, Nutty Professor. Somebody gave me that. I think it was Jeremiah. One of those guys gave me, yeah, you looking like Nutty Professor, you know. Gotta admit, you know, Sherman was smart though too. Sherman. Man, you know what I'm saying? But your Nutty Professor is back. I'm gonna roll that. Yeah, I think I like it. Nutty Professor. Yeah, I'm gonna roll that though too. I appreciate you guys for showing up. I know it's the glasses too. The glasses really help with the Nutty Professor thing, you know. Keep up the good work. Thank you, really 730. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. I'm just putting a lot of truth to power to this stuff, you know, because more of us that are speaking out and talking out, you know, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, Stormy Gavin says, yes, I was born in a thunderstorm. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. That's probably why you like, I know thunderstorms, does it relax you? Does thunderstorms relax you, you know? Some people it do. Some people can't sleep through a thunderstorm. Some people can. Yeah. Man, that's good. Nutty Professor, you know? Yeah, I was born in a blizzard. Oh, man. On Friday the 13th. Oh, man. True story. Oh, wow. It should have you on the news with Friday the 13th roll around, you know? Yep. I appreciate you guys coming in. Yeah, about to wind it down in a minute and stuff. Hold on for a minute. All right. All right. No one have to see me spit, you know? But yeah, so yeah, we've been having a great conversation about all the policies, all the things that's been going on, getting rid of woke, getting rid of DEI, stopping the border, deportation, you know, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, you know, Social Security, no tax on seniors. Talked about all this other stuff, the big beautiful bill stuff, you know, MAGA forever. Yeah, my shepherd name is Blizzard. Oh man, that's a beautiful name. Yeah. MAGA forever, never surrender. That's what I have on the side of my hat. Never, yep. Never surrender. Yep. That's exactly what I have. 45 and 47. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will never surrender. We'll never go down in the night. We will hold down this republic. We will stand for the American flag, American freedom, the red, white, and blue, all this other type of stuff. We will push our enemies back, which we have. We've been pushing them further and further. We've been pushing the Dems further and further, further and further. Fight, fight, fight. Absolutely, man. Right, yeah, really, 7:30, yeah, man. Trump was like, fight, fight, fight. And that's what we've been doing ever since. The guy that's had an assassination attempt, burglarized his home, said that he hush money, all this stuff, all the hoax stuff with Stormy Daniels stuff. And he still goes on and on and on. Broke into Mar-a-Lago, went through his wife's stuff, Barron stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? This is the same group of people said Russia, Russia, Russia. They said Epstein. They said all this stuff happened. He persevered and came out smelling like a rose. Even though his enemies say that he's the enemy of his country, but they could not stop Trump. Trump is like the Energizer Bunny. You know that Energizer, that bunny to beat, you know what I'm saying? That's how Trump, he just keep on going and going. They say, damn, man, we can't get him here, we can't get him there. He got the American people on his side. Damn, he got the military. He just got too much power. I can't stand him. This and that. And he's still persevering. And we love it, man. This is the greatest country on earth, man. It's America, man. This is the last frontier. We are the land of the free, the home of the brave. Never forget it. Always back up the Constitution, Second Amendment rights as well. Let no government infringe on our rights. You know, we have the right to bear arms. We have the right to hold petition and so forth, and also militias, military, all that great stuff, man. You know, our First Amendment rights, if you don't know anything else, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to for the press, freedom of the press. These are the things if you don't know anything else. Fourth Amendment rights, right? You know, that protects us from illegal search and seizures. You know, they have to have a warrant. It has to be by the judge. They didn't do that with Trump. They violated his Fourth Amendment rights, right? This was a president at the time. He was a ex-president, right? They did this to an ex-president, right? If they could do that to him, they could do that to any of us. Thank God for Trump and thank God for America, man. Fight, fight, fight. Boy, I tell you, but I get choked up every time. Stormy Garvin says, I can't stop thinking about that young lady who was butchered on the subway. I talked a little bit about that earlier, Stormy. Yeah, Trump is peeved now. Yeah, he is. He's pissed off. And there's going to be some retaliation against this for sure. Because I believe the guy that did that, wasn't he a black guy? Here we go again with the nonsense. JL says, what's with black guys talking about Trump in their cars? Bizarre. Yeah, it is bizarre seeing the black. It ain't bizarre no more. You got a lot of black guys, though, in their car. Do you know that black guys love being in their cars, though? You know, this is like a second home to the black man, you know? This is about the only place where a black man can get pieces in his car. Anybody black that know what I'm talking about, say amen, man, because it is what it is, though. I get the most peace in my car, JL. You know what I'm saying? I ain't privileged like you, where you can get peace in your house, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I do it, you know? One of them. Man. But, yeah, man, but that's exactly what it is, though, man. We have, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, we're coming back to normacy and decency right now. We really are. You know, we really, really are. So I'm just highlighting on everything with Trump, and I'm going to continue because the trolls make it fun in here, though, really. Every time they come in here, you know what I'm saying? Yep. You got that right, Christine. You know you love these double chins and triple chins. Come over here and get in my belly, Christine. Christian, yeah, get in my belly. You know. Let me see here. Doza said, do you think the Constitution or constitutional protections should be included in illegal immigrants? That's a very good question for you, and the answer is no. I'm gonna tell you why. Because first of all, you got to be an American citizen, or what's a natural white citizen? I mean, you know when they're sworn in, when they become a natural citizen and all this other stuff. Yeah, they have access to the Constitution, but not illegals. Because you know, I can't even even if I was born in Japan, they still consider me a foreigner. You know, because I wasn't born in Japan. You know, I have to be a citizen first to be a Japanese citizen. That's just how it goes. I'm using them as an example, right? You know, so no, I don't agree with that. Sassy says you're a real Trump humper, huh? Trump humper, Trump humper, hump, Trump humper, hump, Trump humper, hump, humper, hump. Oh man, boy, I tell you, boy, you know, sassy. Don't get sassy with me, you know. You know, too much sass in this room. No, I don't mind the sass, you know. Yeah, oh, sassy, you know. Why they call you sassy? Because you're sassy? Are you classy being sassy, or you just sassy? Yeah. But yeah, but other than that, though, you know, like I said, I have fun with the trolls. But we also put out those facts, man. I appreciate the likes, too. Thank you so much, guys. I really do. I'm just over here bringing truth to power, though. We stand on, this is what many of us voted for, you know, and things like that. We voted for this. This is what we wanted. We wanted this. We wanted the change in America, man. Because, again, we did not like where it was heading because of the Democratic failed policies and a crybaby leadership. This is why they're being exposed now, and this is why they can't handle them. I'm talking about the Democratic so-called elites, not their people that voted for them. I'm talking about their elites, right? They're the ones that are being exposed now. They're the ones that have lost the narrative. They're the ones that don't have any type of leadership, as I stated many times before. They have no policies that are working policies that work for the American people. Trump beat them. He had a better policy he always had since 2016. That's why Hillary lost. She thought she was going to win by name recognition alone. Trump trolled her, beat her ass bad. She was shocked, and she had the majority of the vote, but she did. She overlooked the electoral college. Trump won it, and this is why we got Trump. And she still messed up behind it. Poor Hillary. And then we also have the 2020, right? Which we know that Trump won that too. But to let you know, the Democrats, what did they do? They got to cheat. I mean, they even had proof over here in Detroit where they were over here filling up the ballots illegal. They stuck in. I think a lot of people went to jail behind that too. But they got them on there. There's whistleblowers and stuff. I think they did the same thing in PA, Pennsylvania, when it was like mainly blue. Red state now, like North Carolina, red state now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's turning around. It's turning around. You know. Let me see. Miss says the corporations and the MIC pulled the strings. Doesn't matter who votes for the POTUS positions, but it's a glorified spokesperson. Glorified spokesperson. Yeah, we know charisma has a lot to do with politics. Just ask Gavin Newsom. I mean, you know, when it comes down to the looks, the aesthetics, the hair, the hand gestures that he liked to do, you know, he has all that down to a science. He was born and groomed as a politician. He comes from a politician, what they call him, politician elite background. I believe he's related to Nancy Pelosi too. So that's the thing. He comes from, you know, and he ain't by himself. There's a lot of other ones too that has been groomed with that thing. That's why most of the time people vote off of personalities, aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I wouldn't have a snowball chance in hell to win in politics or whatever, and that's okay though. You know, I understand because a lot of it has to do with being fit, looking good, and all this other stuff. Though I still got my hair though. Still got my hair. You know what I'm saying? For the most part of it. But yeah, that has a lot to do with it though. You know, Marca Aguilera says, "Keep lying to yourself. Things are changing, but okay, not for the good, but for the okay, Mark, you don't think that? I mean, let me walk you down again before I go, Mark Aguilera. Are you related to Christina Aguilera? You know? Yep, yep. I'm a genie in the bottle. I want to rub you the right way. Ain't that how it go? How she say it? Okay, let's talk about it a little bit before I go. So, Mark, what you're saying is that you think things are changing for the worse. Please elaborate. Yeah, if you don't mind, Mark, I'm gonna give you the floor a little bit. Just go ahead and type in there and tell me why you think that America is going for the worse instead of the better. I'm just curious. Let me see what you have to say there. In the meantime, I'm a dim and can't stand Gavin, LOL. Okay, you can't stand Gavin. Okay, well, I mean, that's okay though. I mean, there's a lot of DMs out there, those that don't like Gavin Newsom or whatever, you know. But tell me your reason why you don't like Gavin Newsom and things. I'm curious. I already said my reasons as to why. So why you don't like Gavin Newsom? Because I know there got to be a reason for it. I'm sure, you know. I mean, I'm not surprised. I ain't really heard anybody necessarily say they like Gavin Newsom after that LA thing and the riots and stuff, talking about it was a peaceful protest, cut off the water, let LA burn, letting a lot of illegals going in there, sanctuary cities, just really ran a lot of businesses out of out of California, one of the worst governors we ever had, to be really honest. He ain't by himself, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Okay, let's see here. Let's go call you position. I'm not kidding. USA got a kick out of Afghanistan, Africa, etc. No rare earths except domestic. They will need to create a slave class to work the mines. Okay, why do you think groceries are so high? Man, we get this all the time though. What do you mean the groceries are so high? In fact, the groceries have been coming down. You got to keep in mind, Trump is pulling us out of the recession. You got to keep in mind, under Biden, he's still undoing the things that Joe Biden have actually put us in. When Biden got, when he stole the election, he got into the White House, right? This is when we started seeing the inflation starting to go up, right? Because what did he do, right? There was more regulations put on businesses and so forth. Taxes, taxes, taxes. Inflation going up, going up. He sent a lot of money over to Ukraine. Remember that? It was billions of dollars that's being sent. I think it was 360 billion, something like that. He said, we're going to keep giving money to Ukraine no matter how long it takes, right? It was it was one of these forever, it was supposed to be a forever war under Joe Biden. Do you realize we are still, Trump has been doing a good job of cutting, bringing down the rates, gasoline, everything. Because remember, I think the highest we've been under inflation under Joe Biden, I remember 7% before. And there's no reason in the world that inflation should have jacked up that high, but we know why it was, you know. And Biden wasn't really running it. We had Obama; he was the puppet master behind there, because Biden wasn't even cognate up here to run anything. But we know that Obama was. He was in the basement on behind us, and that's my opinion of it, right? He was in the basement, pushing all the strings as a puppet master, and this is what we've been dealing with: high inflation, the loss of jobs, all the rest of this stuff, right? He was the one that did this, right? Then talk about he cut inflation down. It's just like if a person put on 150 pounds, right? Right? They weigh like 150 pounds. Then I go ahead and put on, let's say, 250 pounds, right? But then I take off let's say the 50 pounds. I'm still weighing 200 pounds. I'm not back at my ideal weight. I'm just using that as an example, right? And that's exactly what it is with this inflation in the economy. It's still, look at the Federal Reserve. They won't cut the rates. If they cut the rates, that could bring the food prices way down. But you do realize that they've been fighting Trump. You ain't mentioned about the Federal Reserve and Jerome Too Late Powell, right? You ain't mentioned about him. He the one that won't cut the rates. He's keeping the rates exactly where they are, because what he wants to do in the deep state, they want to discredit Trump. But the thing about it is that Trump has a chance to get in the Federal Reserve now because of Lisa Cook. You see what I'm saying? And in a minute, since she's been fired and been removed out of there, he's gonna put the person that he wants in there. And because right now there's, for what I hear on the inside, there is a division between the Federal Reserve. There's like a division between the two. And all that is, it takes that enough to be able to make some changes in the Federal Reserve to cut the rates by 2 to 3%. That's what should happen. It should have been happening. Trump kept up his end of the bargain, bringing mass jobs and manufacturing into America. He did this. I appreciate the like too, thank you. He done all this stuff, right? There's no question about could he do it, he done it. But the Federal Reserve has been fighting him on every level. So he done an excellent job dealing and doing what he had to work with. But we're dealing with a central bank that adheres to no policies of any country. You do have to understand this. This is an actual fact. You know what I'm saying? So until he can get the rates cut, and that's what we're hoping for before the end of this month, next month, I hope to see that where the American people can start really seeing a break on not just mortgage prices and loans and all types of stuff, because it should trickle down though. But if they're not doing this type of stuff, and we already know, everybody's looking at the Federal Reserve asking why won't they cut the rates? Not by 0.5%. We want it like 2 to 3%, not 0.5%. Because what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to do that. But the pressure is on Jerome Too-Late Powell. It's on him. He's right now. This is the culprit. The Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, they are the masterminds behind why we have high inflation in the first place. They control our politicians. They love to get us in wars, and the list goes on and on and on. They don't adhere to no government. If you look up the Federal Reserve, they are not. Just because they have federal, they are not. They are not federally backed by this country. They are what we call a central bank, straight like that, you know. So that's why we're in the situation that we're in now, ladies and gentlemen. This is why. This is why Trump is trying to get rid of the central bank. And once the central bank has been demolished, the taxes have been, let's say, ratified, actually removed, neutralized. We neutralize the threat, right? Well, we can start printing our money under the Treasury. The U.S. Treasury should be printing the money, not the Federal Reserve. You know, and we should have gold and silver backing it as well. So these are the things, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the country always ran on tariffs as well. We always have these things, you know. So from Joe Biden and his failed administration, Obama and all the rest of them, this is why we're in this situation now, you know. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying in regards to that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, man, it's been cool and been fun though, man. But yeah, I'm about to go in a minute. But yeah, I appreciate the likes too. Thank y'all so much. It's been real cool though, man. Talking about all the great things. I covered so much about Trump and his policies and how it's been benefiting a lot of the American people. Majority of y'all, 80 million, voted for Trump. We got another 20 million that converted over to maga as well too. So what's that? So we got 80 plus 20. That makes about 100%. Yep, that makes about 100% right there alone. I mean, his popularity. Oh yeah, y'all seen that Trump been out at the U.S. Open? Man, people lost their minds though when they put the camera on Trump. You know he's a tennis player. He's a tennis fan too. I used to play tennis. You know what I'm saying? But this year I'm gonna get the weight down though. Before y'all may lose y'all nutty professor, man. You know, you're gonna eventually lose your nutty professor though. I done it before though, so you're gonna lose nutty professor. I still may go by nutty professor. You don't have to be fat to be nutty professor, you know. But yeah, man, Trump was there, crowd went wild, and things like that. So Trump popularity for a guy that hate people. That's what I'm saying. It's a small minority group of the Dems saying that Trump is not liked, but it's not true. He's well liked, you know, well liked. You know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Craig Randall, before I go, please address that you call Powell the deep state, but Trump appointed him. Well, here's the thing about it though. With Powell right now, you know, he's kind of, because he won't cut the rates. Powell won't cut the rates. That's the main thing. You know, he's not cutting the rates. But like I said, we may have an opportunity, since Lisa Cook is not in there no more, to get those rates. We want to take control over that Federal Reserve Bank, get them out of the way, get rid of the IRS. It's going to happen though. It's going to happen though. So it's a beautiful thing. Tariffs are filling up. It's competing with the deep states. We're talking about the actual fiat currency. Trump is competing with the fiat currency from the deep state, you know, straight up. So yeah, yeah. But you see, Patty said, Patty B in the house. Patty B. Patty said, dumb is dumb. You can't be a professor. You don't understand the subject. I gotta get in the sister role, y'all. Hold on for a minute. It just sounds more impactful. Patty B says, because he doesn't want a depression. Patty B says, tariffs are destroying the economy. Yeah, I gotta do it. I gotta do a black woman thing, though. It just sounds more better. It sounds a lot better, right? What you talking about? You ain't no professor. You never been to college. You ain't got no degree. You ain't got no wife. You ain't got no car. You ain't got no life. Yeah, man, that's something else. Patty B gonna be all right. Patty B. Yep, Patty B gonna be all right. Craig Randall says, I don't think you even know who appointed Powell. LOL, dumb as fuck. Craig, you know what? If I'm dumb, what that make you? If you in the room talking to a dummy, so what that makes you, dummy? Hey, Lamont, you big dummy. Craig, lean your head down here so I can just pop you up one. Yeah, I want to give you a knuckle sandwich, though. Yep, big old dummy. Yeah, this is Red Fox. I ain't gonna take no disrespect, you know. Big old dummy. Patty B says, you may be a nice guy, but you are ignorant. Let me do it right. You may be a nice guy, but you are ignorant. If I'm ignorant, why do I got so many likes, Patty B? Why do I have a lot of people coming into my rooms, though? I had way more views than this. If I'm so dumb and people ain't feeling me, why? I get the hearts and likes. They don't give that out for people that's dumb and stupid. Ignorant people. No, you came in, Johnny come late. I've been already talking about a lot of Trump's policies, how we are been benefiting, we looking really good. I'm not spitting out propaganda that you like to listen to. I don't even watch CNN, MSDNC, and all the rest of them. I don't watch those. I don't listen to that. I listen to real news coming from real journalists, old school journalists, how it used to be. I don't watch those type of medias or whatever. You entitled to your opinion. Calling me dumb and stupid doesn't hurt me. It means that I already won their argument because you haven't really said anything. For my detractors, you never really said anything. Really has said nothing, but spitting out a whole bunch of propaganda that you know nothing about. Yeah, you big dummy. I want to say here, Lamont. I always love doing impressions, though. Yeah, but that's basically what it is, though. This is what we're dealing with. Because if I was so rattled about what you said about me, which is not true at all, not true at all. I've been stating the fact ever since I've been talking. I've been well at this for over an hour or two, talking about a lot of things. Put Trump's face up in there. Obviously, you came in the room. You saw the thumbprint. You saw the thumbprint. Thumbnail, right? Trump got the photo up there. But you said the same thing about Trump. But at the same time, he's getting stuff done because he has a better policy. Remember, Kamala Harris had every opportunity. She had every opportunity, Patty B, and she failed the election miserably. Miserably, you know what I'm saying? So that's how you guys get in their feelings. He got a hog neck. Just like your mama, Air Michaels. Just like your mama, Don't bring the drama. But if you're going to bring the drama, bring it to your mama. Air Michaels, you big dummy. Yeah, but Patty B says, thank you for the smiley faces, too. It is funny, though, right? I can clown him, too, man. We do this all day. Yeah, he suffered from daddy issues. You always can tell the types of guys that come in here that don't have no daddy, no discipline. Patty B says she was VP and had 10 months to run, but she lost. She's a loser, and she's a DEI, and she ain't a black woman. She's an Indian, Brahmin descent Indian. And that's a fact. Did more incarceration to black people than a little bit. Look up study her history. No Brahmin ever gave a damn about black people. Come on now. Let's go ahead and keep it real. Yeah. Nice hoops. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michaels. Michaels, I appreciate it, Get compliment on my hoops, Patty B says, why aren't you crediting Vance for Trump's policies? What you mean? I like J.D. Vance. I think J.D. Vance is very smart, intelligent, You know what I'm saying? I think he'll make a great president someday. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't talk about Vance a whole lot, don't mean I don't like Vance. I think he's doing well. He handled the debate against Tim Walz very well, actually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he handled it very well. You know, but Kamala, I can't say Scamala, I can't say the whole, thing. And Michael says he's shaped like a potato, big potato head. Yeah, big potato head, big potato head, big potato, big potato, big potato head. He got a doo-doo head. My M. Michael sound like we back in the first grade, doesn't he? He got a doo-doo head. Oh man. Oh man, Oh man, this guy, man. M. Michaels is something else, man. Oh man. Boy, he got a big old fat doodle head. You ain't say doodle head, I'm sorry. Like what is this, like elementary school? I do like trolling trolls though, it's fun. But yeah, I know Stormy Gavin's right. Got a big old potato head. Big old, he got a fake laugh. I don't like him. He got a big old fake laugh. Looking like Nutty Professor. Sound like Red Fox. Yeah, Oh man, you didn't say Fat Albert, M. Michaels. Oh, that might be before your time though. Yeah, you didn't say Fat Albert. What about Fat Albert? Hey, it's okay. Yeah, I used to love Fat Albert, man. Fat Albert and Cosby Kids, man. And they were smart too, y'all. Yep, I love, yeah. You know what I'm saying? The Cosby Kids, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Nah, gonna have a good time. Yeah, hey. You know what I'm saying? Fat Albert was cool though too. Hey, Fat Albert. Yeah. Y'all, some of y'all remember Fat Albert, don't you? Don't hate on Fat Albert. Fat Albert was smart. Most fat guys are smart though. Know how to cook too, and I love to cook. I love food. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I'll be wrong is gluttony. But I do love food though. Get in my belly. But yeah, it's all good. I love to troll the trolls though. Let them know that ain't no hard feelings though. I can ride right along with them. You know what I'm saying? Your boy's still here kicking out truth and knowledge though. You know what I'm saying? We have a good time. Do comedian stand-up hour too. I wonder what M. Michaels would say. You know what you love? Tell me what I love, M. Michaels. Tell me what I love. Tell me what I love. I'm gonna hear it. Go ahead, M. Michaels. Tell me what I love. And I would let you know if you're wrong or not. Stormy Gavin says, we all love food. Yeah, we do, for the most part of it. But yeah, I really would like to hear and see. He'd like to hear what M. Michael's going to say, what I love. I'll let him know if he's right or wrong, though. I would let him know. Thank you for the hearts and smiling faces in the 100. Kicking it and keeping it real, though, man. Keeping it and kicking it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real, though, I really would like to know. Go ahead, though, Michaels. Hold on, guys, for one moment. I got a call. Hold on for one moment. All right, guys. Just finished my call real quick. Told him I'd call him back. But I want to hear what. Oh, yeah, there you go. And Michael says, wow, I really made him cry. He stopped video. No, I just said, wait a minute. I really made him cry. Oh, yeah, let me do it. Michael, man, you made me cry. I had to stop doing my video because you was getting into my ass too much. Oh, man. Oh, man, y'all know I'm winding down to the show now when I'm over here teasing the trolls, boy, which I do very well, Oh, M. Michaels, are you hurt that I'm back now to clown you? You upset with me? You upset with your brother? Yeah, man, you should have been on my show earlier, man. I went over here kicking the flats. I can't hear your cholesterol. Yeah, you may have to clear out your ears to hear over my cholesterol. Boy, I tell you. Well, he got some fat jokes, don't he? Yeah, boy, I tell you. I know he just clouded, though. He'll be all right. He's a coward, just, yeah. Well, let me see here. Stormy Gavin says, yeah, Michaels, you're a coward. Jealous, too fake, fake. Yeah, he really You know, he's one of these other crybaby, come on here, try to be disruptive. I gave him a little airtime. I won't give him no more though. I give him a little bit, but he ain't gonna be the focal point of what I had to say though. You know, because see, that's all they have is name calling. He can't defeat me on the facts of what I stated earlier. He just come on here, try to think he hurting somebody or whatever. You know, I got very thick skin, son. You know what I'm saying? For real. Coming out of Detroit too. This is one of the hardest of the hardest. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shit. You gotta have thick skin around here. Are you kidding me? You know? Everything you've been throwing, son, has been weak, son. Is that how they say it? You know? Yeah, but yeah, man, I appreciate the flags and the waves or whatever, but yeah, that's not thick skin, that's fat boy. You know, you spelling fat wrong. It's supposed to be with a Y, not with an I. This shows about your educational level there, Mike. I'm gonna go ahead and get it up. I'm gonna get into Michael's ass real good right about now. The thing about people like Michael, M. Michaels, is that they're soy boy losers, weak, liberal, and I'm gonna let you news flash for you, M. Michaels. You know, one thing about it, I've been able to still get women and date women, right? With me and how I look right now. Let me tell you why. Because real women love alpha men. You are a beta male, sir. You the one that seek attention from women. You the one that think, because you judging me on the looks, and I'm very good with interact. I even got a lot of women friends. You probably one of these like incel soy boys that live in their parents' basement, right? That's what it sounds like. You know, and I feel sorry for you and your kind, man. I mean, you know, it's really sad. Because if you was any kind of real man, you would be a conservative, not a liberal soy boy. Most soy boys are liberal, you know, and we know that you ain't even about that life, you know. Stop it. You know, you just coming on here trying to show off for who? For who? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? Women don't like soy boys, man. They don't like liberals, right? Even liberal women like conservative men. They like alpha men, conservative men. And that's not you. You know, I can tell just by what your diction and how you're talking right now. You probably sound like one of these little young kids. That's why I say you're not even worth the conversation. I'm going to get back on my point. This will be the last time I address M. Michaels at this point because he's not speaking and coming off with anything constructive. He just try to go like we in on the first grade or something though too, you know. Yeah. So let me see here. But other than that though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we are having a great time and things. So you know what I'm saying. There that goes. So yeah. All right. So anybody next? Yeah, he's one of those guys. You know. Bye 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 bye. Oh man. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so we had a great time today. It was cool, you know, just coming on here, kicking the knowledge. We all talking about Trump, the policies and stuff. Anytime you feel, when I'm gonna start doing my more lives more consistently, so therefore we can talk about this because these are real issues, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, these are serious, real issues. I appreciate the loves and likes, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all make the show, you know, by coming on here. And I thank each and every one of you, even the trolls for showing up, you know, and things like that. I don't hate anybody, you know. We are all Americans, you know. At the end of the day, right? Just because our policies may not jive, doesn't mean that we're still Americans, though. That's one thing about having a constitution, freedom of speech. You're able to say what you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's the main thing about it, though. You know. So yeah, thank God, America. God bless the USA, America, and all that. You guys have been great. I appreciate all the likes and stuff. We just had a great time today. It was real, real good. It was cool. I think we covered it. I mean, I want to address back to the woman that got stabbed 3 times in the throat, man. God, dog. And, you know, unfortunately, it was a black man that did it. She was riding that subway. I'm encouraging you, ladies. You don't want to be out there. She was Ukraine, pretty Ukrainian woman. And things. So hold on for a minute. Oh man, I didn't want to spit in front of you guys. I know you heard it, but other than that though, but yeah, man, she was a pretty Ukraine woman, right? pretty woman, and she didn't deserve to die like that, man, at all. This shouldn't have happened. This guy decided to get into his feelings, and this is what I mean about the soy boys and mental illness, right? We need to bring these insane asylums back because these people need to be treated. This guy here, once again, the policies have failed him because he should not be on the streets. You know, he should not be on the streets. You know, you're starting to see more young men now without their daddies, without their fathers, like M. Michaels. I'm gonna use him. He's gonna be my poster child for a nice little while. They get in their feelings because they don't like what a person is saying. Instead of trying to hear for understanding, they lash out like emotional people do. They just, and when you get to that point, this is how the Democratic Party have controlled people, like the soy boys too, women too, because they use emotion, right, to get them to start responding more like this emotional outburst. They get mad at something and they want to do something to somebody without thinking about the consequences. You know, when you're an insane person up here, you do things very dumb and stupid. I don't go out here just punching people just for the hell of it, or in this case, jumping on a woman like this. This is crazy, you know. New York is, I was born there, Brooklyn, New York. New York is not a place to mess around and play around in. Ladies, you guys, if you're going to go on that subway, make sure you have some type of male escort or something like that, because, you know, these places is rough, though. Not for a woman. I think this was in the daytime. This wasn't even at night. No way. But you see, she still wasn't safe. You know, young Ukrainian, pretty young Ukrainian woman, you know, and she lost her life for nothing. This should have never happened. But they want to keep saying that how illegals should be over here. This guy, I don't know what was this guy an illegal? I didn't get to that far of reading the whole background on this guy. I know he's been apprehended. They caught him, which they should. And he should never get out again. I think they've been catch and release on this guy. He's been you know, doing stuff before. I don't know, not to this extent. I'm not really for sure. I'm gonna have to do some investigation. Maybe you guys may know. But Trump is pissed. Trump is real pissed. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that the troops got to come to New York. They got to go now. Yeah, they got to go. They're going anyway, but now, yeah, they got to go to New York. There's no way around it. We can't allow these people to continue doing what they're doing in America. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. We shouldn't be in fear of these criminals, right, running around here and doing this to a woman, man. An innocent woman. She was an innocent woman, man. You know what I'm saying? And this, and for this to happen, you know, it's really sad. There's gonna be a lot of blowback behind this one, though, man. You know, because again, the Democrats, the Dems ain't looking too hot, man. They never have been. And now that this woman, this is another failed Democratic policy. How many people got to die at the hands of these criminals, let alone illegal criminals that are over here as well? You got domestic criminals, illegal criminals, and we know what the solution is. We know what the solution is. To flood the zone with, you already know, National Guards. They got to come. They have to come. They have to flood the zone because we want it safe. New York should be safe. New York is one of the worst anti-American, socialist, communist. They even got a socialist commie running as their mayor right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that guy, you know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, we can't allow New York to fall, man. We really can't. We can't. We can't allow New York to fall. We got to save New York, and we got to get New York back to the days in the 70s and the 80s when it was still nice to be able to go out, have a great time. And I do believe that we got a man in the office, and that is Trump. We already know what his track record is. America first, ladies and gentlemen. America first. We have been really doing the thing. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm about to get ready to get back out here to work. I got to get my stretching on and stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of other things to be telling you guys though. Once what is it? I know I got the losing weight. I'm already working on that as well too. I've been doing some stuff regards to that. Been to the chiropractor, getting my knee back together, and that's a great thing too, ladies and gentlemen. Get my knee and stuff back. So yeah, yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, I appreciate you guys showing up. You guys have been great, and yeah, so yeah, you got the trolls make the show. You guys make the show too. You know what I'm saying? Most importantly, you guys definitely make the show. I appreciate all the likes though too. You guys have been great though. I'm just bringing truth to power once again though. You know, did I tell you I met Don Jr. before, Trump's son, oldest? I met Don Jr. last year. He was speaking here when Trump and J.D. Vance they were on the campaign tour. So he was speaking for his father though too. So I got the photos to prove it, and I'm gonna post the photos up one day too, and things like that. Keep saying I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the photos up. Where yeah, I met Don Jr. man, so it was real cool. You know, and how that came about. Y'all remember? Some of you guys may remember Trump's first campaign manager, Corey Landowski, I believe. I picked him up as an Uber, man. Kid you not, picked him up last year, and that's why I got a picture of the tour bus, the Trump tour bus. Though I've been to many Trump rallies, you know. One day I do plan on meeting Trump, you know, and things like that. But yeah, man, I congratulated Don Jr. Man, I said your father doing an excellent job, man. And yeah, I see him going back into the White House. It was a beautiful, it was a pretty thing, man. Don Jr. Yeah, he was cool, man. He really was. We chatted and things like that. So yeah, I got that picture, man, and I'm gonna meet Trump eventually. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. That's a true story. I pick up a lot of celebrities, but Trump is one of them. Yeah, I mean Trump Jr., Don Jr. I mean, Elton Bryan said it's a pretty sad thing to brag about, you know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the thing about it, though, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, so yeah, I appreciate that, though. I love giving it to him with Trump, man. He's the greatest president that we ever had, man. If not, one of the greatest that ever done it. Fighting against the deep state, taking down the deep state, and a lot of these leftist lunatics got their asses on the run. They're panicked out. All they can do is name call. That's when you know we got them, ladies and gentlemen. America is back, full effect. He changed the thing from the Department of Defense to Department of War, which it should have been, because that's where it always was, but they started changing stuff. The Gulf of America, beautiful thing. Not the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Gulf of America. You know, America first. And like I said before, if you don't like America, you could do like Rosie O'Donnell, buy you one-way ticket and get the you know what out of here. Because we don't want nobody that's American and anti-American. We're not gonna put up with socialist programs. We're not gonna put up with a commie. We get the commies out of here, and that's what we're gonna do. We want these commies out of here. These ones that's pushing this norm. What's his name? Chomsky, pushing this type of stuff, rules for radicals and all this other nonsense, and not here in this country. We want you out of here, you know. Get out. Get out of here, you know. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. The sun is shining. Boy, my face and skin looking good, though, you know. Yeah, look at that, boy. Mm. Yeah, looking good, boy. Looking good, ain't it? But yeah, other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the likes and stuff like that. And you guys have been great, man. I'm about to shut it down. Shut it down. Tony Brown, you know. About to shut it down with Tony Brown. Yep. That is not my last name, but, you know, I am Brown, though, and I'm about to shut it down. All right, y'all. I appreciate you all. Peace and love. Thank you for coming on the channel. Even the trolls, too. Wouldn't be a show without the trolls as well. Showing up in true fashion. I appreciate you all coming back on. You guys have a wonderful day. Though the day is Tuesday. Or, I'm sorry, the day is Monday. About to be Tuesday tomorrow. Okay, guys, y'all take care. Got to hit the road. Peace and love.